Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix. How are we all doing this afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world? I hope you're having a good one. Damp in Spa. It's wet in Spa. What a surprise. I mean, never rains in Spa, does it? Really? So yeah, F2 race, in case you missed it, that was postponed this morning, or this afternoon really, wasn't it? So that's not going to take place until possibly this afternoon. We'll see how things go. Qualifying now looks set to go ahead. A lot of reports saying that the weather is starting to clear up a little bit, and track might be okay, but we'll keep an eye on that as the next 25 minutes or so unfolds. And of course, as the session gets going shortly as well, about 25 minutes from qualifying now. So yeah, lots of rain in Spa is kind of the headline today. There are some other headlines which we'll get into ever so shortly. I've just been watching Sky do their 2025 driver lineup predictions, which they tend to do at this time of year, and they reckon not only will Sergio Perez, or Karun Chandler reckons, not only will Sergio Perez keep his seat after this weekend, he'll still be there next year. So he's expecting quite the turnaround. That could be interesting. Also worth mentioning as well, I'll go through it. I don't really think there's much point, but I'll do it for those who missed it this morning. FP3 did take place as you'd expect, but nothing really representative. Max Verstappen was fastest, 2 minutes and 1.565, 1.4 seconds clear of Oscar Piastri. Pierre Gasly third, Norris fourth, Ocon fifth, Charles Leclerc sixth, Lance Stroll seventh, Bottas eighth, Hamilton ninth, Perez in 10th place, 5.5 seconds off his teammate. Terrible Checo. That's a joke. Of course, it was raining, so not a representative session at all. Alex Albon 11th, Nico Hulkenberg 12th, Fernando Alonso 13th, Daniel Ricciardo 14th, Yuki Tsunoda 15th, Zhou Guanyu 16th, Logan Sargeant 17th, 18th for George Russell, and he didn't get a time, but he did go out, and Carlos Sainz and Magnussen also didn't get a time, 19th and 20th, but they did get out on track to get a couple of laps in right at the end, but they weren't proper timed laps. So a totally pointless session this morning. A lot of time spent in the pits, just one of those typical days where largely, particularly in F2, we've already had next update in 10 minutes, next update in 10 minutes, next update in 10 minutes. So there's a possibility we'll get that, but like I say, well, Jonty's saying now it's raining more than ever. So unless, no, he's singing a song. He's singing a song. It's fine. You can guess what song he's singing. Let's do some shout-outs then before we get going. By the way, I'm going to do shout-outs for subs again today as we did last week. I thought that was quite nice for the quality watch-along. So if you are new to the channel, please do drop a sub, and I'll do some shout-outs for that for you as well. But hey to Mike, hey to Anushka, who was first here. Good to see you again. Hey to CPB1, Kevin N, to Timberwolf Man V6, to, I think I said Mike, we'll give Mike another one. There you go. Alfie Alpha, evening. Doing well, thank you, mate. Hope you are too. Michael, I think it could be rained out and start by points. That could be interesting. Hey to Pascal, hey to Varun, to Fud as well, to, I always butcher your name, to Catherine, to Dietmar, to Stefan is here too, and Jonty's Corner calling me a fool for not realising he was singing a Rihanna song. And you can guess which Rihanna song because we're talking about the rain. So there you go. I'm not on the ball. Hey to I2 Drizzy as well. Good to see you all this afternoon. Very much looking forward to this session as always. As always, I love my qualifying. It's so good. So good. Yes, Sir Kenchalot. Time for some Belgian waffle. We'll do what we do every week with these. If you've got any questions about F1, hey Reluctant Reviews, please do pop the questions in chat. I'll waffle on as we go for the next 20 minutes or so. Then we'll do qualifying, talk you through that with live timing updates and chat as usual. And of course, we'll do some more waffle afterwards, as we tend to do. So, yes. Is it? Okay, Fudge. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. But Fud's cool. I like Fud. Fud's good. That's your name. Fud good. Good Fud. Yeah, so a couple of things to mention, though. First one you might have seen this week. Esteban Ocon is going to be at Haas next season. Hands up all those who were absolutely shocked by that one. Yeah, nobody. I certainly wasn't. That's been coming for quite a while. The other thing as well is, and I think this will be just as much of a shock, to be honest, as the Ocon news. More chaos at Alpine. I know. Bruno Faman is leaving by the end of August, and is likely to be replaced by High-Tech's F2 and F3 boss Oliver Oakes, which is quite an interesting move. So we could see what's going to happen with that team longer term. Some talking about maybe High-Tech taking the team over because they had that failed bid to enter the sport, but then Andretti had a successful bid with the FIA and still hasn't entered, so who knows. But yeah, it looks like Alpine are still in a mess and can't control anything, but maybe they're going to give us high tech. Still this talk of a Mercedes power unit for next year as well, and maybe probably 2026 at the latest before they get to that point. An absolute mess, but to be honest, a mess that's very in keeping with the Enstone team. They've had some fantastic success over the years, but they also like in between that success to just be absolutely chaotic. You go back to the days of and I think I said this last week actually. No, it's not unknown or unheard of for the Works Renault team to actually use a customer engine. When they had, I think it was Grosjean and Maldonado, when they were Lotus, they had a Mercedes engine, so it's not a new thing. Although that's probably more to do with the fact that they had to pay quite a lot of money in parts for the likes of Maldonado and Grosjean, so that's possibly part of that one, I don't know. But really interested to keep an eye on Alpine over the next few days, weeks and months. Maybe this is Enstone changing hands again. Maybe it's Renault doing what Renault doing and backing away a little bit more, and then in 3 years they'll come back because they suddenly want to be part of it. But it's a bit disappointing that Renault might pull out though with their engine, because and they made the point on Sky yesterday, which I didn't really consider. The 2026 regulations, there are lots of reasons to change regulations in F1, loads of reasons to have these new regs for 2026. But one of the big ones was to tempt in more engine manufacturers. And as it stands, if Renault were to pull out, you'd effectively be losing Renault and gaining Audi. So we're not really any better off on that front. So not the greatest. Well, I was going to say maybe not the greatest endorsement for the new regs, but maybe not the greatest endorsement for Renault's commitment to the sport. But it'll be interesting what they do going forward. But maybe high tech coming there. I'm not convinced. I've got a feeling this is going to be similar to the Lotus situation, where Renault are still in control of that team. Maybe they'll sell a minority to a bit more of a minority to high tech or something. I don't know, and they'll be involved somewhere. But I don't expect a fully branded high tech on the grid next year. Probably still be Alpine, but with Mercedes power. Interesting times ahead. On the subject of Mercedes as well, they have apparently pulled their floor for this weekend. So they bought a new floor. They've decided to revert to the old specification. The reasoning behind that, partly because of the track conditions, the wet weather. It's a variable they don't need, but also they weren't totally thrilled by the sounds of it with the data they were getting yesterday. And so they want to do some analysis of that over the coming weeks. And then once Spa's out of the way, have a look what they think then. So they have gone back to the old floor. They weren't great yesterday, to be fair. So you can kind of understand why. But yes, that's just an interesting point on Mercedes to keep an eye on. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Alpine. I sent when the news about Bruno Famine broke on, was it Thursday, or the rumor was floating around on Thursday, I sent a screenshot of the article to Stuart, and I just said, "Oh, just sell the team and go away." But it's what we've been here with Renault before. Honda do it quite a lot. They pull out, they've had enough, and then they come back, and then they're happy and the sport's wonderful and their team's amazing, and then they pull out again and then they come back and they keep doing that. And it's why I'll always give credit, not just because I'm biased, but credit towards Ferrari, for example, because they do stick around and have stuck around pretty much since day one and have been here pretty much all the way through the whole history of Formula One World Championship. So I'll always give them credit for that, whereas others just pull out all the time. But it's, we'll see what happens. But Andretti taking that team on will probably be a good thing. They kind of got the approval from the FIA, which was FOM that said no to an 11th team. So actually putting Andretti in control of that team wouldn't be a bad idea. High tech could be a possibility, or we'll just stick with Alpine but with a Mercedes engine. So there might even be some kind of deal that could be done behind the scenes as well, road car wise, where Alpine start taking Mercedes engines in one of their new projects or something, which again isn't really a great endorsement of Renault, but you never know. It's so weird that like away from Formula One, the motoring industry I find really odd. You get these cars that have got engines in that sort of in your head make no sense, but then from a business point of view do. I'm sure you can think of some, but we'll see what happens. But I'm not happy with Alpine at the minute, apart from one thing. That livery this weekend, if they can do a deal with their investor, Mr. Ryan Reynolds, and everybody else involved to keep that livery for the rest of eternity, I will be very, very happy. It looks fantastic. It really, really does. I feel like they could do a deal with Monster. If they didn't want it to be a movie one, they could do a deal with Monster. They can still keep the claws at the back and maybe have that in the Monster green and a black and red livery or something. I think that'd be fantastic. MD Games, a member for how long now? 5 months. Thank you very much for your continued support. MD Games, do really appreciate that one. But keep an eye on Enstone and see what happens in the coming weeks. And just, it's a team I'm always going to have a soft spot for. It gave Michael Schumacher his first win. It got him his first titles, so I'm always going to have a soft spot for that team, but it's in a mess. A fustercluck, as I like to say. RC says like kick. Yeah, like kick. I suppose, yeah, like kick Sauber. I suppose you could say that one. Yeah, kick streaming and kick. Yeah, Stakes the betting one, but anyway. Prediction, high-tech buyout of Alpine. They officially named themselves Apex GP High-Tech Racing. Partner Brad Pitt's film for marketing, and they do a brawl for 2026 as CPB. Writing a novel there. That could be great. It's not going to happen. Can't we then give Gasly a yellow race suit? He got the yellow helmet, didn't he, for Wolverine, and I think Ocon's Deadpool, isn't he? So that's interesting. Interesting choices. Let's put it that way. I'm happy to have Binotto at Sauber. I think he will be doing a great job. Seidel Hoffman not getting on, so there was no point in fighting. It is time that the team improves. There's Pascal. Yeah, that's the other thing. A bit of a shake-up at Audi, which has surprised quite a few people this week. Binotto returning, or was it last week or early this week, wasn't it? Binotto returning. He's going to take over at Sauber for the Audi project as CEO and also, or I think it's CEO or something like that, or Chief Operating Officers, whatever titles they have over there. Andreas Seidel. Do you know, just if you caught the preview, by the way, on Thursday, there are 6 outtakes of me saying Andreas Stella instead of Andreas Seidel for the Sauber thing. I don't know what that was about. I was clearly having some kind of meltdown, but there we go. So yeah, so Andreas Seidel is leaving, and Oliver Hoffman as well. So me and John had a chat about this in DMs the other day. There's just something about the Audi project which just doesn't sit right with me, but something doesn't feel right. Until they're on the grid, I'm not going to believe they're coming because of everything that's happening behind the scenes. It's been a bit chaotic, management changes, arguments at the top, and I think I'm looking forward to them just rolling up to the first race of the season in 2026. They're on the grid, they've got their engine in the back of the car, they've got their drivers, and we can believe they're here. It just all feels a bit messy at the moment. So, not that it's easy, by the way, to pull in. So I don't know what I was going to say there. I got distracted by something else completely. I saw Sits in a race say smells very Renault-like, and I was thinking, what on earth? And I totally get what you mean now. We're talking about Audi, aren't we? So I was like, yeah, it does sound very Renault-like. Definitely does. Newey is going to Aston Martin, say rumours. I think he's going to retire, says Anushka. The rumour that I saw was of Sir Michael Crack, let's say, to Audi for 2026, maybe next year. That's been sort of played down a little bit since that rumour came out. But it did get me thinking on the Adrian Newey to Aston Martin thing. Andreas Seidel. Oh my God, why do I get them confused? Andreas Seidel to Aston Martin to partner with Adrian Newey. I don't think that would be a terrible move at all. Not that there's anything wrong with Mr. Crack, but that's where I'm at. Mate, running an F1 team is easy as cakes. Could do it in my sleep, says Stefan. I'm sure you could. Sort them all out, Stefan. Sort them out. You can go take over at Alpine or Audi. That's fine. It would make Googling the F1 Apex GP movie even harder, says Mike. That's true. That movie, I don't know if it's an age thing. Let me know. If I'm 38, so if you're kind of around the same age, let me know what you think. But I see the trailer for that, and it just looks like a longer version of Drive to Survive, like an episode of Drive to Survive, and I'm like, ugh. It doesn't. It might be great. I'll watch it because it's F1 related, but it looks a bit cringe. But then I'm the king of cringe, so there you go. Shut up, RC. I'm not having that. You can keep that dirty words out of my chat. There's 2 years yet before I reach that point. No, I'm not having it, mate. I hope you're doing well. And enjoying the summer, by the way, as a Man United fan. We seem competent, which is nice, isn't it, mate? RC also says Enstone is cursed. It feels like that. GP says Alpine needs to sell to Andretti. Reluctant reviews says I think Ocon and Behrman is a really strong driver lineup for Haas next year. I'm nodding. There's been a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Debate on social media about this and talk about Esteban Ocon. And I'm not going to go to the Ocon defensive position I usually take. I've made that point over the last couple of streams, but I actually don't think Haas have got a bad lineup there at all. People talking about Ocon being a bit crashy, but you know, Mick Schumacher crashed a lot Mazepin crashed quite a bit. Magnus has had his moments as well. They're used to it. They had Grosjean there for a number of years. Sorry, Dan, on the off chance you're listening somewhere. But, you know, that's 2 digs at Grosjean in the first 15 minutes of this stream, so there we go. But, no, they did, and then they'll manage through that. But I think Ocon's quick. Ocon has got pace. He's experienced. He's a race winner. First race winner at Haas, which they made a big deal of when they made the announcement. And I think him alongside Ollie Behrman, it's a tall lineup, as people keep reminding me. But I think it's actually a decent lineup for a team like Haas. And they're quite excited. You know, he was quite excited, Ocon, about the ambitions that Gene Haas has for that team. Me and Stuart are very much the same on this. We struggle with kind of where to place Haas, but I think they're in a great positions. Sorry, Stuart's messaged me, just checking. I don't know if there's been any other news on Renault. He's described it as a bit of a mess for a while. So whether he's listening and he's picked up on that, I don't know. But yeah, bit of a mess for a while is definitely it. And then finished it by saying they have seen the mess for a while. Bit of a blow, oof. So yes, yeah, I think that's a great summary of Renault. They're a bit of a mess, but yeah. Where are we in chat? I'll do some shout outs now for subs before we move on to the watch along screen. Thank you to Andre, to MD Games. I've already shouted out MD Games. Is it Jose Aguila? Thank you very much for your sub, and Colm as well, subbed a couple of hours ago. So thank you very much for subbing. Shout outs all day, and what I mean is all stream for subs, of course, until the stream ends, and unless I'm occupied by what's happening in qualifying. Drivers are getting in the car, so it looks like we are going to get going on top. Flying Tigers, I'm going to miss K-Mag. I will. I think K-Mag is... he's an era... I think I've said this so many times, but he's a kind of driver that I really like, in the way he deals with the media and other things like that. I don't think we have enough like him. I like that he's not... I was going to say not PR trained. Of course he's PR trained, but he doesn't just follow the PR line. He's a little bit more rough around the edges, like not in a negative way, but rough around the edges. I really like him for that. And I kind of hope that he sticks around. I think there's talk of like almost an ambassadorial role for him. So I hope he does stick around in some capacity at Haas, and we do get to see something of him. Or go race. I think. And I might be thinking of the right driver. People tell me maybe I'm wrong on this, but I actually think K-Mag will be a pretty good endurance driver, a WEC driver. I think he'd be pretty good over there. So I hope he gets some racing and gets to be part of the Haas setup in some way, because I really like the guy. I don't think he's the most popular driver on the grid, but I don't think he's as unpopular as he once seemed to be. So yeah, I'm going to miss K-Mag as well. But we've got Oscar Piastri now for the interviews and things. He could be the one now that's a bit more Kimmy as well. We'll always compare them to Kimmy, won't we? So that's fine. Just get everything set up over in the watch along so that we know where we are and I'm not messing about when we get there. So I'm going to have the investigations tracker open as well. We'll also have the race control messages I'll keep an eye on for you just in case. And I'm going to have the AI radio transcripts more than anything. For the lols, because sometimes we get some corkers, so I'll keep an eye on that one as well. Max is like K-Mag, just quick, says Yinka. Yeah, true. With the media, he is very much. Magnussen for the 1 year Mercedes deal, heard it here first, says CPB, joking, obviously. Hasn't his dad hasn't he done WEC with his dad already? I don't know, Stefan. Someone in chat will definitely say, but I know that I think WEC would be pretty good for him. Some sort of endurance race would be solid. CPB also predicts that Karun Chandok's, or says, will Karun Chandok's predictions age worse than semi-skimmed milk? I'm not quite... There's a couple of... Bottas staying at Audi, I actually could quite get behind. I think that's actually a fair shout. I don't think we've talked about that enough. If they can't get Sainz, they can't get Perez if he were to leave Red Bull, or they can't get somebody else into that seat, I don't see why you wouldn't keep Bottas alongside Hulkenberg rather than just going and chasing somebody for the sake of a change. So I don't actually think that's a bad shout. So I'll give him that one. But I'm not as confident as Karun Chandok that Sergio Perez will be in the car next year. But then, as Martin Brundle also said in that moment, if you're going to make a change mid-season, then surely it's Ricciardo and not like a Liam Lawson. I keep saying I don't want Liam Lawson there. LK said it's almost midnight for me. Oh, that's my that's my favourite time of the night. I love that. That's about the time I go to bed, and I put on a bit of City Planner Plays, and I lay there for 2 hours and watch him building cities. And if he's doing a stream talking about city planning, and I just sit there and I just love every moment of it. So that's my favourite time. It's just the world's so nice and quiet as well. So I love that time. I'm very much a night owl as well. Definitely. So Phil Jones, just on the K-Mag, says it was planned, but I think it was cancelled when he got the late call back to Haas. Yes, Phil, I remember something about that. He did get a late call back to Haas, didn't he? So that could be what that one was. So that's a good shout there. Baloo King, the music's just started on TV, so we are 5 minutes away from the start of the session. So we'll move over to the watch on screen in just a moment. If you are, of course, new to the channel, first of all, thank you very much to Craig and to John for subscribing. Really appreciate the support. If you are new to the channel, we go over there. We've got timing from multi-viewer for F1. We've got a track map over there as well. I've just realised I didn't change the picture on the main screen, so I might have to do that. If not, we'll stick with Max Verstappen at Hungary for some reason, but there we go. We might have to cope with that one, I'm afraid. Yes, but obviously no footage for obvious copyright law reasons, but we'll keep you updated on what's going on in the session. I'll have my headphones in so I can listen to what is going on, and yes. John says, Sean, Fallout London is finally released. Yes, it is. I'm hoping that Many a True Nerd is going to start a playthrough soon. Because I don't want to... Well, I suppose I could install Fallout 4 on my PC, couldn't I? Yeah, no, I might give it a go, actually. Yeah, no, it's taken ages. It was supposed to be out before the... I think it's coming out 2 days after the next gen update that was dreadful, that they dropped in April or May. Yeah. So that was a really smart move, but obviously separate things. I know nobody really cares about gaming, but I'm doing it. Interesting question, RC. I was considering a Twitch channel or a second YouTube channel for gaming, because I kind of sometimes, when we do these quali watch alongs, we waffle a bit. You may have noticed the last 25 minutes we just chat about things. I'd kind of like somewhere I could just do some city building or some building in Planet Coaster 2 when it comes out later this year or something like that, and just sit and talk to you all. And those interested, of course, not everybody is going to be interested, but those who are, that'll be quite a nice way to spend a Saturday afternoon or something. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's the wrong picture. I will have a go in just a moment at sorting that, but let's just get this track map a little bit lower down, actually. I forgot how to do this now, so it's not quite so high up. Let's see. That's not bad. It's Spa is shaped like a glue gun, I've decided, and many of you are going to go, yes, Sean, it is. Everyone knows that, but there you go. That's my take on that one. I'll see if I can change that picture while we're live, while we're waiting for the show to get going. Track looks, I would say, and I'm saying this from a brief glance right now, that it looks like the track is good enough for us to get going. We'll see how it goes. What picture should we use? What should we got? We've got a nice wet safety car. We've got a Verstappen. We've got a Norris. We've got a Piastri. Let's go with that McLaren, which I think is Piastri. That's a terrible angle, but we're going to try and solve the issue. I can multitask, just not very well, which I guess means I can't multitask, but there we go. That's the best I'm going to get it, I think. So we've changed the picture. It's one at least relevant to Spa, but it's not the best. So yeah, that was my thinking on Twitch, RC, or a YouTube channel, but it kind of depends how can I word this? Jonty will probably put a sticky tongue out face now, because he'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but it sort of depends how the next few weeks goes as to what happens with that. So more info hopefully soon, but we are about to get going. Team radios are working at the moment, so I can keep an eye on the transcripts there. Economy 2.0, oh Stefan, don't. It's better, it's much better, but it's got a way to go as that game, I think. But I think it's getting there. It's getting there. But if you hear me bang the mic, I do apologise. I just need to refresh the timing tower as well, which isn't there for some reason. So bear with me just a second. Refresh. There we go. We've got it. We're away. I'm just going to turn so I can actually watch the TV, because that's kind of the point of this. We're watching along. And hopefully everything will work. Keep an eye on the... so if something doesn't work, just give me a shout in chat. But it looks like... should be okay. I'm going to have to refresh. Do you know what? For some reason, as Oscar Piastri is cut up in the pit lane by a Haas there, for some reason the stream keeps delaying massively on YouTube from my side in the preview window. So hopefully that doesn't carry on, because I was well behind there. Hopefully that's all sorted. But it should be good with you guys. But yeah, we're ready to go. We are ready to go. Yes, excellent. Tableau, says Jonathan A. What have I missed, Jonathan A? I don't know what that means. Now I'm concerned. I've missed something. Yeah, 30 seconds to go. The drivers have been told at the end of the pit lane. Oscar World Championship 2025 confirmed, says Stefan. That McLaren's looking good, isn't it? We are green, by the way. We are ready to go. At the end of the pit, off goes the first one out on track, Lando Norris. Hey, Spectre, good to see you. Hey, having a good day wherever you are in the world. A good weekend so far. Looking forward to some qualifying here. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Just as Norris goes out there on track, possibly in these conditions, we should go for it on the first time lap. We think Class 2 rain 8 minutes into the session, so a bit of rain on the horizon by the look of it. Yes, LD, it's just started now. We are away now, so there we go. But yeah, no, Piastri's in a great position. I think I said this last week, possibly to you again, Stefan. I think all things equal next season, if McLaren had the fastest car and it was between the two drivers, I would still probably lean towards Norris for the title. But Oscar is developing very, very nicely. It is only his second season. He's a race winner now. He's quick. He's got the right attitude as far as I'm concerned on the radio. So maybe for the future, but 2025 might be a little bit early. But I mean, you never know, do you? You never know. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of people who would have never predicted Nico Rosberg, including me, for a world championship. And when things go your way, things go your way. So it is possible. He'll do well. He'll do well next year if they've got the car for it. Yeah, I've got the team radio open, but I'm not sure how useful it is because it's if you've got F1 Multiviewer open, you'll know exactly what I mean. The AI radio transcripts, they absolutely fly by because if you didn't know, there are 20 drivers. That's a lot of radio, so keep an eye on it for anything important, but I don't think there'll be much on there, but it's worth it for the laughs there. But yeah, we're going to have Norris to do the first lap by the look of it. We've got Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Piastri will be your first four to get the laps in. Very much, you're probably going to notice very much line astern at the moment. Apart from the McLarens, you've got the two Haas drivers together. You've got the two Saubers, the two Astons, the two Williams, the two Alpines. I suspect that will be because they're going to try a tow down the Kemmel Straits. So yes. Who knows what Class 2 rain means, says Mike. Oh, Mike, don't. It's an F1 term. Just say it's going to pee it down or it isn't. You know, a bit of drizzle. We'll have it like that. As Norris starts his lap, I assume Class 2. I would imagine Class 1 is quite light. Class 2 a bit heavier. Class 3 peeing it down. Class 4, oh my God, we're drowning. Something like that. 2 minutes. So it's only going to be, yeah, Martin Rudder said no in commentary, only a lap to get. It's a 2 minutes time for the rain. So Norris needs this lap to count. Everybody needs this lap to count. And some of those are still on out laps at the moment. So Norris will be obviously purple because, well, his lap times will be, he won't be, but his lap times will be purple because he's first one out there. Piastri currently a little bit quicker according to the timing on his out lap. So a quicker out lap than Norris. And we'll see what's going to happen here. Hippity Hoppity says a bit of moisture within the air. Absolutely. So rain on its way in a couple of minutes. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. So these laps really do matter. So who's starting? So everyone's getting across the line to start. Stroll's the next one across. Then Albon and Sargeant will be next. Last one to get their lap in. Looks like it's going to be George Russell, if the driver tracker is correct. So George Russell could be the last one here to get a lap in. And if it starts to rain, that could be a little bit of a problem. We'll keep an eye on it, obviously. So Norris just coming through now into the timing beam for the second sector. Are we lined up on the timing for TV? It's going to tell me in a minute. Make sure we've got the right timing right there. And yes, we are. We are. Brilliant. So obviously purple, 54.6. Everyone on the Inters, by the way, nobody needing the wets. It's definitely Inters conditions. See what happens when the rain falls. It could get worse. Hamilton reporting no grip on the radio, which isn't massively surprising. It's wet. It's not. What's the air temperature? 18 degrees. It's not cold. That's still, you know, I'm going to be really miserable now. It's still a little bit hot for me. I'm going to keep saying it. 10 to 15 degrees. I'm fine with that. A little bit of, no, not really a toe down that straight, is it? But Norris over the line of 58.894. He is fastest. Piastri faster in the middle sector by half a second. Norris did have a bit of a snap, but this could be interesting. Magnussen of 59.8. What is Hulkenberg? He goes fastest on a 58.7, so that's not a great lap from Norris. Hulkenberg a 1:58.7. Oscar Piastri a 1:57.4, 1.4 seconds quicker than Lando Norris and 1.3 quicker than Nico Hulkenberg. So a very good lap there from Oscar Piastri. We saw Norris had a little bit of a twitch, but I don't know if he made a big mistake. That's a pretty solid effort there. But we've got Verstappen going quicker at the moment. He's just done a 32.4 in the first sector, 4/10 quicker than Oscar Piastri. Alonso goes second on a 1:58.269. Interesting. So these laps matter, obviously, but Norris will need to go again, but he'll need to, I assume, recharge and then go for another lap. But no reports of rain at the moment. Hamilton being told B-ball offset +1 on team radio. So, yeah. Don't sing Fresh Prince. I can feel it, the B-ball thing. It's bubbling up inside. Gasly goes second, 58.124. 1.4 seconds quicker in the middle sector is Max Verstappen over Oscar Piastri at the moment. So this is going to be interesting. See what Norris and Piastri's second laps are like. This is going to be one of those days, by the way, for anyone who isn't sure, where I think we're going to see cars on track for pretty much the whole session. And if the track keeps drying, and the track will keep drying and people get quicker and quicker and quicker. Perez goes second, by the way, on a 58.0. Max Verstappen's about to wipe the floor with everybody on his first lap. So the fastest time was a 57.4. It is now a 56 flat, 1.4 seconds quicker. So this track will keep getting quicker. They'll stay out there. And then maybe if the rain doesn't come, somebody like a Sargeant or a Joe or a Bottas or something like that might risk a dry at the end just to see if they can get some time, but we'll see. How wet is it? It's inters. There's a bit of spray at the end of the start-finish straight. It's wet enough that drivers are kind of a bit twitchy and struggling with grip, but it's not like it was with the F2 where it was like, if you saw the F2 obviously, where it's absolutely soaking wet. Piastri completes the second lap 9/10 slower than Verstappen. Hamilton goes third, 1.4 off, and Russell goes fifth on a 57.9, 1.9 off. So Norris is improving. He's 6/10 down in the first sector, but he is improving on his own time. So that is a stonking lap from Max Verstappen there. Perez dropping to 6th at the moment. Leclerc moves up into 4th place. It's just going to be one of that, just a relentless session. This is Albon moves into 10th place. I'll try and keep on top of it as best I can and see what's going on. Magnussen is pitting this lap, apparently. So, according to the radio, again, it's a transcript that might be wrong. It's AI, so it's still in beta, that one, so I'll keep an eye on it. But we might not get much from it. I need to watch the TV, obviously, for obvious reasons. Hopefully you can't hear Crofty in my ear, by the way. It might be a bit loud. I might have to turn it down. I don't think the mic will pick it up, but you never know. You never know. Just let me know. Copyright causing problems. Perez P8. He is. That's the position. You always see to put him in P8, and that's where he is right now, you see. So he's doing it for you. He's doing it for you guys. Did Mert put those upgrades back on? No, they didn't. They took the floor off, I believe. Unless something's happened that I've missed while we've been live. They took the floor off this morning. So they weren't happy with it, and obviously the variable of the rain, etc. They wanted to make sure that they were in control of everything, I assume, but they'll analyse it over the winter. The winter? They won't. The summer. Gasly goes second, 56.7. Norris moves up to 4th, a 57.3, a better lap, but still 1.3 off Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly only 7.5 tenths off Max Verstappen. Sainz goes 7th, 1.5 off. We've got Hulkenberg coming through now into the... I'm going to continue to call it the bus stop chicane. Apparently it is officially just called chicane now, which is so boring. Heavier rain in 2 minutes, could be. Piastri being told on radio as Hulkenberg moves into 14th place. What is Bottas going to do? He's 6 tenths away from a time he needs to get out of Q1. Russell improves, is 5th, 1.2 off the pace now. Bottas, obviously green because he is improving. What's he going to do over the line? I can just hear Pascal getting ready to cheer. P6 for Valtteri Bottas. Good lap at this stage. Just under 9 minutes to go. So lots of time for this track to improve. Perez is improving as well. Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Sargeant, Joe and Stroll in the drop zone at the moment. That's a cracking lap from Bottas. Long way to go. Long way to go. No more corner with no name, so they had to make a chicane with no name, says Mike. Yeah, that's true. It'll always be the bus stop chicane to me. It will. But officially, I think it is chicane. We'll not get into the corner with no name argument. It's Jackie X, I think, is what it is now. But I still maintain if you continually call something the corner with no name, then that is its name, and it no longer has no name. Sergio Perez, purple in the middle sector, by the way, 53 flat. Piastri purple in the first sector. Track seems to be improving, so rain isn't coming down at the moment. You're just starting to see, not a dry line, but the tram tracks appearing, so track improving, but there's some dark clouds around, so it might chuck it down any minute. Officially, it's not raining, but it is wet. So Norris says this is now or never for a new set. We think we should take a new set. Perez goes second. Purple in the middle sector, but still 6.5 tenths off overall. Where did he lose the time? 30.9. So half a second in the final sector. A tenth quicker in the middle sector. And 2 tenths down in the first sector. So middle sector was where Perez picked up all that time, where it was purple, of course. Yeah, Max, same parabolica. I totally get why they've called it. It's the Alboreto corner now, isn't it? The Alboreto Parabolica or Parabolica Alboreto. But yeah, it'll always be Parabolica, always. But yeah, corner. People prefer corner numbers these days, don't they? But I still like to use names where I can, but I'll always try and clarify what each corner is. What's wrong with Lance? Stroll is last at the moment, 159.1. He is on track. Piastri goes fastest to 55.5, 4.5 tenths quicker than Max Verstappen. The track is definitely ramping up. But the only thing else on Stroll is, I have no information here, by the way, because I'm live. And what on earth? Sorry. If you were watching the Sky footage there, everything just went black for a moment, and we kept the halo graphics. But anyway, the only thing I might suspect on Stroll is he had to crash in FP3. So maybe they've repaired it. Maybe things not quite feeling right for him, but that, again, no information. That's just speculation. He might go out now and stick a lap in that surprises us all, but yes. Alfie says a lot of these corner names have come from heritage rather than just being named for the sake of it. Exactly. And that's, you know, not to be all, you know, back in the day everything was great, but and rose tinted spectacles. That's how it should be. I don't, you know, let's not just call a corner a name because we can. There's got to be a reason behind it, hasn't there? Like the bus stop chicane will always be the bus stop chicane. You know, I'm not going to go through why all the corners are named what they are, but yeah. What CPB said that's got Jonty agreeing. I want a Gasly podium or even a win in Spa just one time. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? A Gasly podium or win in Spa. I mean, it was great in Monza, so just on the point there that Jonty's made for Antoine, I mean, that highly emotional win for Leclerc in Spa that weekend. That was a moment, wasn't it? So it'd be nice. I'd like Gasly to do well. I do like Pierre Gasly. Nothing wrong with him at all. Sainz coming into the bus stop chicane, the final chicane, or just chicane. I'll turn 18 and 19 if you want to be boring. He's going to come over the line now. He is improving on his other time, his previous time, and it's a 156.5, and he moves into 4th place. So not bad, but there is some rain on the camera lens, and it is rain. They are sort of spots are starting to fall. I think they made the point in the Sky commentary before they started this that the shot of Spa through all the mist and the rain, that's you just think of that's what Spa is, isn't it? That's what Spa is to so many people. 54.9, Verstappen goes fastest again. Purple first sector, a tenth quicker than Piastri. Second sector, 6 tenths quicker than Piastri, and he's slightly slower in the final sector by a hundredth of a second, so that's for 54.9. So there we go. Fastest through the speed trap at the moment is Alex Albon on 308 kilometers an hour. Here comes Max again. He did it. Yeah, he's there. He's got it. He's top at the moment. Alonso, Stroll's improving. Nearly a second quicker, actually, than the time to get him through into Q2. But Alonso is also improving, and that's what that time is based off. So that might change in just a moment. But Alonso coming through the final couple of corners now. Quite a clumsy chicane, that one, I find. But over the line goes Alonso. Goes 4th fastest on a 56.0. Now, what can Stroll do? 56.0 to beat from his teammate. Does a 56.5. Moves into 7th place for Lance Stroll. Alex Albon, where is he? He's currently down in 18th. Sargeant is last. Ocon moves into 5th place on a 55.9. Everyone's going to keep improving now. So I'm going to stop saying it unless somebody doesn't improve. Viral Engine says, is it Spa? Spa wasn't this bad before, was it? Feels like climate change. No, Spa has always been like this. It can change in a heartbeat. It's the cliche is it's got its own climate. Of course, technically speaking, that's probably not true. But no, it's always had moments like this. There was a period in the 2000s where it stayed dry pretty much solidly for a number of years. But no, it's always been a bit soggy and damp and misty at Spa, but in 10 minutes time it might be bright sunshine, and that's that. So where is the heavy rain in 2 minutes? It's not coming, is it? The track is definitely improving. Sargeant coming through the final corner, 57.0 to get through into Q2. Does a 57.230 for Logan Sargeant. So there we go. Back in my day, I ate nails and tacks for breakfast, used petrol instead of milk, trekked through an avalanche in Siberia to get to school, and completed the barbed wire obstacle course. Yeah, you went to the same school as me, CPV. I know exactly what you're getting at. But we're all guilty of it as you get older. I'm telling you, the older you get, John will back me up. Not that he's old, but the older you get, the more you start to say. So I can't even listen to Radio 1 anymore. It's all noise. I'm already on Radio 2. You know, it comes for you. It gets us all. Everything was great back in our day, when reality is it probably really wasn't. Russell, only 17th at the moment, by the way. Just starting another run. Very wide at turn 1, but not massively surprised. Lots of grip on the outside, and that'll give him a nice run through Eau Rouge and Radion. What's he going to do all good through there? Just such an incredible corner, that. We'll keep an eye on Russell. Zhou Verstappen incident, turn 18, impeding noted. So I don't know which way that one has gone. Who's done what there? The fact Zhou was the first name on the list, I assume, will be that Zhou impeding Verstappen is the investigation. I can't remember which way they do it, but yeah. Keep an eye on that one as well. Right, Russell, this is what I'm watching now. I want to keep an eye on what George can do. He has got the Red Bull of Verstappen in front of him, getting just out of the way. Through he comes now, George Russell. Through turn 10 and 11. We'll use some track numbers for now. Corner numbers for now. It's 12 and 13. Nice and twitchy on the exit of 12 there. Through 13, then coming on to 14, and I think 15 is Paul Frere, I think. I'm not very good on these. The bit just before Blanchimont, I'm not quite sure on. But he's 2/10 down on Verstappen, just over 2/10 down on Verstappen in the middle sector. So this is a decent lap for George. Should get him out of the bottom 5, which is currently Sargeant, Russell, Bottas, Zhou and Hulkenberg. That'll be the expense of Tsunoda. But these lap times with 25 seconds to go are going to keep tumbling. I'm glad I said that before we got to 21, because otherwise you have to listen to my rendition of 21 seconds because I can't help it. And there's a very slow Sauber on the exit of the bus stop, just getting out of the way. But George Russell over the line. He goes third on a 55.3. I'm not going to say that'll be safe because that's his final run, I believe. Unless he just goes again, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Checkered flag is out. First part of the qualifying session is over, but we've got lots of laps to be completed. What are we watching here? This is the Verstappen-Zhou thing. Yeah, that's. I would imagine that's going to be a penalty for Zhou. That looked. Yeah, that'll be a penalty, I'd have thought. 3 places, you'd imagine. That was Verstappen on a hot lap. Zhou holding him up through Blanchimont on the run to the bus stop. So, I'd be surprised that isn't something, but we'll keep an eye on that in the coming hours, because it seems to take forever to get these decisions done. Max's grid penalty is 10 places game on. So wherever he qualifies, obviously 10 places back. So best he can start is 11th tomorrow. I think he'll be around 11th, 12th, 13th, somewhere there. But you never know with these conditions. Gasly goes second on a 54.9. Piastri's quickest on a 54.8. Ocon goes up to 6th place. Nico Hulkenberg coming to the line. He's currently down in last place. Now goes up to 11th on a 56.3. Bottas improving. Perez is also improving, although only in the middle sector. Perez is on the bubble here. Bottas over the line goes into 8th place. Perez drops into the bottom 5. He has to get this now, does Checo. Oh, don't do this, Checo, please, for goodness sake. Stroll improves to 11th place. He's okay at the moment. Ricciardo is improving. Sainz is improving. Perez, what's he going to do? Magnussen goes 14th. Perez Jumps up to 4th place, thank God. I thought we were going to have another Perez meltdown moment. Perez up to 4th place, 3/10 off the fastest time by Piastri. Ricciardo moves into 8th place over the line. What can Sainz do? He's currently in the bottom 5, is improving. Over the line he goes, up into 5th. Leclerc down to 6th. Tsunoda faster in the middle sector for him. Needs more than a 56. In fact, no, Tsunoda's out. Hulkenberg is out. Magnussen's out. Tsunoda is out. Sargeant is not improving. He is out, and Joe is out as well. So there we go. I just got a little bit twitchy there that Sergio Perez might be in a bit of bother, but he's not. Lance Stroll scrapes through by a couple of tenths. Nico Hulkenberg 16th. He is out. Magnussen 17th. Out. Out also is Tsunoda in 18th. Sargeant 19th. I just headbutted the microphone for no reason. And Zhou Guanyu in 20th place and last 2.9 seconds off the fastest time, I think. Yes, 2.9 seconds. So, yeah, we lost both the Haas drivers. I thought they were going to be quick this weekend. I said it in the preview. I thought Haas were a team to watch, but it's not really worked out today for one reason or another. So, yeah, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Sargeant, and Zhou Guanyu out. We've still got 2 qualifying sessions to go. Lots of action still to come. And the track is continuing to dry. So, hopefully, we might get on dry tyres soon, and that could be interesting. But yeah, just to confirm, I mean, Verstappen and Zhou is under investigation for impeding Verstappen, and that would, if he was to get a 3-place penalty, it would drop him from 20th to, well, technically 19th to last, because of course Tsunoda's taking a grid penalty as well, isn't he? Is it 40 places for Tsunoda? Correct me if I'm wrong, it might be 60, but it's a lot. He's taking a lot of penalties, as he'll be starting from the back of the grid tomorrow anyway. I don't think Perez got his lap time deleted. No. Don't scare me, Maury. Don't do that to me. Zhou got his lap time deleted. Is it 60 places, Chloe? There we go then. Yeah, so he's going down to last place for Yuki. No, the only time deleted was Zhou for track limits at turn 4, which was a 2 minutes and 5:02. So that was probably an out lap or an in lap, or a cool-down lap, whatever. But yeah, it's 60 places, apparently. So yeah, Pascal's happy because Bottas is through to Q2. So just to confirm how they lined up there. So Piastri was fastest. Gasly just 700ths behind. Verstappen only a few hundredths further back in 3rd. Perez 3/10 off in 4th. Sainz also 3/10 off in 5th. Leclerc half a second, and Russell half a second, 6th and 7th respectively there. Ocon nearly 6/10 in 8th. Ricciardo 9th. 6/10 off. Alonso 6/10 off in 10th. Bottas 7/10 off in 11th. 7.5 for Norris in 12th. And 8.5 for Hamilton in 13th, which is interesting. Albon 14th, nearly 9/10 off. Stroll was 1.2 seconds off the fastest time in 15th. And of course, I've already said a couple of times, we lost Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Sargeant, and Zhou. So great stuff there from Gasly. Standout performers of Q1. Not that we're going to start doing that, but Gasly probably tops that list at the moment. And great stuff from Bottas as well. Pascal's happy. A lot of Sauber fans will be happy as well. But good to see Bottas is through into Q2. Can he get into Q3? I did pick him for a shock Q3. In a preview, but I'm not confident on that. But 11th place, he wasn't far off if we were to replicate that again. Rishikesh says, how dry is the track getting? Do you think we might be bringing out dry tyres in Q3? If no more rain falls, I need to see the track again. We might see somebody try something towards the end of Q2. But I think at some stage we're going to see somebody on dries, and Q3 wouldn't be a bad shout. It's all going to be down to this rain. There's some rain around. McLaren reported heavier rain a few times in the session that never actually came. So if that's still on the radar somewhere, we'll see. So Logan Sargeant got it. Ooh. Now. That'll make Crofty's day. Max Verstappen here might be in trouble for impeding Logan Sargeant. So Logan Sargeant, well, no, Logan Sargeant goes deep locked up. Max Verstappen takes a corner normally and comes back and then kind of cuts across the front of Logan Sargeant. But Sargeant is locked up and wide. So if they're both on hot laps, I don't see how that's a problem. And if he's locked up and gone wide, then I'd be surprised. I mean, they'll look at it. I'm sure they'll look at it. But both drivers on a hot lap, both on a hot lap. Sargeant's gone in deep because he's locked up. So what's Max? Max can't just follow him deep, can he? So, yeah. I'm not sure. Not sure on that. The Zhou one looked pretty bang on, but it's not going to destroy his day, is it? He's 20th. So, but I don't think. I think if Max is on a slowdown lap or an out lap, which he won't have been at that point, then it's a different conversation. But I'm not sure on that. We'll see if the stewards take a look at it. But he can't just stop, can he? Ayo Komatsu's on the pit wall this weekend. I like Komatsu. I think he's doing a cracking job at Haas, by the way. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not reading the right things or looking in the right places. But I don't think that gets enough of a shout out. Is how well he's doing. I've got a message from Gmail. I just need to check that isn't that they've taken the stream down or something. Just a second. I mean, you'll tell me if they have, I'm sure. But no, just a Google Play thing. There we go. I get nervous whenever I see Gmail. I get nervous because it usually means something's gone wrong. Yes, so we are go for Q2. I'll let you guys in chat decide if you think there's anything at a Max Verstappen thing. I'm not sure, but then there'll be those that say that that's because there's bias. So I don't want to. The temperature, Kevin, is 17.9% air temperature, just gone to 18, 92% humidity, and 21.7% track temperature. And according to the official thing, no rain. I mean, Norris has been told Class 1 rain in 10 minutes. So that's towards the end of this session. 40 minutes remaining now. So I'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, the temperature's not cold, but not warm, given it's raining, I'd imagine. I wouldn't want to be out there. Some great ponchos. But have you seen the Hamilton... I think they call it the Hamilton hide on the F2 coverage. It's like a box, like a poncho box with like a letterbox opening. That is just... I mean, come on. That's so cool. It's got number 44 in the front of it. That's how you do it. That's how you avoid it in the rain. Oh, Leo wants to know what that is in Fahrenheit. Oh, God. Now you're asking. Bear with me. Celsius to... I'm going to pretend I'm doing this in my head. Let me just do the maths here just for a second. So 18 Celsius. It's about 64 Fahrenheit-ish. 64.4 to be specific, 21.8 track is around 71.24. Yeah, so I've just, I did all that in my head. I didn't Google that at all. I'm just a bloody genius. What can I say? There you go, Leo. I hope that helps a little bit. But yeah, I tried. There you go. Albon is going to be first to do a lap by the look of things. He is indeed. Then Ocon, Gasly, Russell, Alonso, Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, Sainz, who I assume is making space. He's very slow at turn 15. He is indeed. Ricardo, it's raining a little bit, a tiny bit, says Max Verstappen, and it's fine drizzle according to GP. So there we go. So the rain is starting to fall. Nick says, lived in America for 14 years and still refused to do Fahrenheit. There you go. John says, official. F2 is rescheduled to 18:15 local time, so that is 5:15 in the UK. Just for those wondering. Thank you as well, by the way. I forgot to do shout out. Sorry to Milka552 and to James Hazelton for subscribing. Don't forget, if you do sub today, I'll give you a shout out. So I'll try and keep on top of those. Thank you very much for your subs. You can, of course, put a super chat in as well if you'd like to support the channel or through PayPal and all of that business. Links in the description. Always appreciated, but it's just it's nice to hang out with you all on a Saturday afternoon. I'm not sure if I can't do that maths, mate. I'm just, I couldn't even tell you what that is. I assumed that was a name. There you go. Russell coming through. The turn 10, 11 on the way to 12 and 13. Quite wide, but then you want to be staying off the curbs anyway, don't you, in these damp conditions? So you don't be on the white lines and the curbs. You can avoid it as he goes out on the white line and the curb and is fine. But yeah, Albon's going to be first set of time. He's approaching the bus stop right now. Verstappen is going to be last a set of time. So what can Albon do? Everyone on Inters again, by the way. The track is probably a little way off slicks. And if the rain is still coming down, even if it's drizzling, that's probably going to stop that for now. But you can just see the darker, drier line or the lighter dry line, sorry, starting to appear. So at some corners, so that's possible. Albon does a 154.2. Ocon a 54.7 and a 54.7 as well for Ocon. 600ths down. What is Russell going to do? Norris purple in the middle sector, by the way. Gasly a 155.0. And over the line goes George Russell on a 54.9 and goes into third place. Albon at the moment. Red flag it now. He's sitting pretty. Probably not going to stay there because Norris is on here. Purple in the middle sector. Ocon has purple first and final sectors, by the way, at the moment, until Piastri will come through and ruin that, I'd imagine. Alonso goes third place. What's Norris going to do? Not Piastri, Norris, sorry. Over the line he goes, 54.459. So quite close in there, actually. But first runs, maybe, part of the reason. Now, 55.3 for Leclerc. So it's used inters for Norris, Hamilton, Russell, Leclerc and Piastri. Just worth noting. I don't know what difference that would make. See what's Verstappen. Verstappen wide on the curb there, but he's half a second up in the middle sector. Russell says rears are just sliding all over the place. So not happy in that car. He's falling down the tight. Perez goes fourth on a 154.791. Yeah. Stroll 55.7 into 13th place. What is Verstappen going to do? 54.4 for Norris is the fastest time at the moment. He's coming through the final chicane. Onto the straight. Plenty of wheel spin, I'd imagine, in these conditions. And it's a 53.857, 6/10 quicker. That was a noise than Lando Norris. So there we go. Good luck there from Aston. It was just wide. Back end out nearly in the gravel there with the back end. That was a hell of a slide through. I think that was it 14 or 50? It's 14, isn't it? Yeah, through that chicane, then wide on the entry to 14, exit of 13. So no other way around, 14 and 15, sorry. I was getting mixed up there. Sorry, I forgot that was the that end of the track. But yeah, a moment, but he's okay. He's got going. I made a weird noise, but we're there. Last Perez race, says Keita. Well, we'll see. Apparently a shootout this coming week between Ricciardo and Lawson for the second Red Bull seat. I'm not sure how true that is, but I'm not in the paddock, so I can't confirm that, unfortunately. Russell is coming for a new set of intermediates with a racing pit stop. Ooh, Ferrari mechanics just exiting as he was leaving. Looks like we're going to get a Ferrari in as well. But yeah, this is close. Yeah, you're right, Vibe. The Ferrari, the Astons, and the Mercedes are pretty close. But at the wrong end of the table for them, and certainly for Ferrari, not having that. Let's find some pace somewhere. See if a fresh set of inters makes any difference for George Russell. It's got to make some difference. Alex Albon's still out there. I don't think he pitted, did he either? So heavy go for another run, but pretty decent like that from Albon up in third place. Splitting the McLaren. It is Leclerc in for some fresh inters. Like I said, just in front of Lewis Hamilton there. He's in as well. He'll have some fresh inters on. So unsafe release in practice and or qualifying, and unsafe release likely to be a fine if they consider that unsafe. But I think that was just about okay. But then I am massively biased towards Ferrari. So there we go. So a few cars pitting. We've got 7 minutes to go. It's like I said earlier, it's a weird session. It's just that we're going to see cars pitting, new inters, just going round and round and round and round. It's what George Russell wanted to do in Hungary, of course, which caught him out in qualifying. He wanted to keep going on some tyres and just run the session to the end. Apologies if I keep headbutting the microphone. I don't know why I'm doing it. It's no closer than it usually is. I just feel a bit more animated today. So I'm not being aggressive. Don't worry. I'm not assaulting you. It's okay. The microphone feels differently. Gasly's not improving, but he's still going for this lap, so I'm not sure whether he might peel off into the pits at the end of it for some fresh inters, perhaps. But he's not improving at all. He's currently down in 12th place. Perez says it's raining harder now. So bad news for Russell, Gasly, Leclerc, Bottas and Stroll. If that rain starts to really come down, that could be the bottom 5 with 6 minutes just over to go. So those out there now. Russell about to start a lap on new inters. Alonso about to finish a lap on new inters. Norris, Hamilton, Leclerc, all on new inters are kind of together-ish on track at the moment, just creating space. They need to get these laps in. So I don't know how. I mean, I guess it depends. How much harder is harder? Leave it. But how much harder is harder in the rain? Yeah, there is rain on the screen, as Martin Brundle rightly pointing out. I was going to say the camera looks a bit wet. And there's definitely a mist now on the Kemmel Straight again. So I think it is really coming down. So they need these laps, those that are on them. Russell Purple in the first sector, though. So good stuff from him there. 31.9, a tenth quicker than Max Verstappen. But it's that middle sector where Max has been quite strong. Apparently the track conditions, it's intermediate in the final few corners. An intermediate sort of through the end of the first sector through most of the middle sector. And then dry everywhere else. So it's a bit of a bit Larry on the exit there of the Jackie X corner from George Russell. Very sideways, looks spectacular. Not going to get very far. You can now see the rain on TV starting to fall now. So we'll see what this middle sector is. This could be important. Give us an idea as to how wet it is. So the fastest one so far is a 51.2 by Max Verstappen. So 51.2. Russell does a 52.0. So it's 8 tenths down, but it is still quicker than his own time and 2 tenths quicker than the time he needs to get into Q3. So Verstappen now improves on a 53.837. So let's see what Russell's going to do. He's coming into the bus stop now. It's quite wet down there, actually. And it does look mistier, doesn't it? A bit more... Yeah, a lot more moisture in the air. That's what I'm going to say. A bit mistier, a bit more grim. Hopefully it dries up for the F2 race. I really want the F2 race as Russell goes fourth on a 54.733. Leclerc, don't do this to me. 32.2 in the first sector. I hope it wasn't 52.2, otherwise it's game over. Sainz is not improving. He's 11th and not improving in the first sector at all. 32.0. Not to be fair, matching more or less, given a few hundredths. Max Verstappen in the first sector on that last lap. So actually not bad, but just not improving his own time. He does improve in the middle sector by 2.5 tenths. Hamilton's not improving in the middle sector, so he needs to come across the line now. He's currently 10th and is a driver at risk. Over the line goes Lewis Hamilton, 3 minutes to go. Improves to P5 on a 54.735. We've got McLaren crossing the line. Is that to improve? Norris? Maybe not. Leclerc goes third on a 54.587. Thank God for that. Albon's still up there in fourth place, by the way. I've missed that one. He's in the pits at the moment. 3 minutes to go. Over the line comes Carlos Sainz and goes fourth on a 54.638. So first sector's not great, but actually not terrible. So Piastri needs a lap as well here. He's in eighth. Perez is again on the... Piastri in a gravel with his left rear, kicking up a lot of gravel there. Coming through 14, so that might have cost him a little bit of time. He's yellow in the first sector, green in the middle sector. 51.4, kind of matching. Yeah, what's he going to do? He's in eighth, but if the rain's coming in, you see now the spray on the run to the bus stop, so it's definitely getting worse out there. But Ricciardo's improving here. In the first sector and is marginally quicker in the middle sector overall, but still down. Piastri improves to second place at 54.1, so there is still time to be found out there. But Sergio Perez in 10th place is going to need a lap here. Where is he? He's up on the run on the Kemmel Straight, so hopefully he can get himself sorted here, because Ricciardo improved in the first sector, hasn't improved in the middle sector. It's a 54.7 to Perez. I don't think he's going to do it. Oh, he does. 54.682. Perez drops into the bottom five, and the rain is falling. It says yes on the timing screen. So, yes, it is raining. This is interesting. So, Ocon is on the bubble. 54.785. Yeah, it's quite a weird track, isn't it? There's drivers not doing great times in certain sectors and then finding lots of time in other sectors. So I'm watching Perez now. He needs the lap here. 32.3 is yellow. That's not an improvement from Perez. He might be in a spot of bother here. Ocon goes purple in the first sector. 31.9. So Esti Bestie is on one. Why did I say that? Perez, though, in the middle sector, nearly 6 tenths up on Ocon. So there is time out there. First sector, not great for Perez. Middle sector, very strong. Final sector, no mistakes. And you might be okay here, Checo. That is only 6 tenths quicker than Ocon, though, so it would still put him... He's going to be in the mix-up at the top end here if this gets this lap right. I'd have thought. Around third place, maybe. That was a prediction. Let's see how wrong I am. This could be funny. Over the line goes Sergio Perez and goes fourth. That's not too bad for me. That's not too bad at all. 54-0. I wasn't far off, but still 6 tenths down on Max Verstappen. Lance Stroll, again, slower in the first sector. Quicker in the middle sector. See what it does in the final sector. Ocon still purple in the first sector. And then improves again in the middle sector. Lewis Hamilton here could be under threat, or is under threat. Absolutely is under threat by Esteban Ocon, who was 3 tenths quicker in the first sector than Hamilton. So 51.9 in the middle for Ocon. I'll keep an eye on Hamilton's middle sector time. But he might be in a spot of bother here, Lewis. Russell not improving either. He's also sort of on the bubble, down in 9th place. I think Ocon's about to move into the top 10 with that stunning livery. And does indeed, goes fourth, a 154.4 for Esteban Ocon. That's a cracking lap. What can Gasly do? A 154.6. Both Mercedes in the bottom 5. Neither improved in the first sector. Russell is improving in the second sector. What is Hamilton doing in the middle sector? Albon now on the bubble. Hamilton goes purple, so he looks like he's going to be okay. What does Russell do? Russell goes second on it. This is so weird. On a 54.0, he goes second place. Hamilton here has a shot of going right up there as well. This is so bizarre. You're looking at the lap times on the screen. It's yellow this and yellow that, and then suddenly in goes a really hot sector, and it changes everything. So the checker flag's out, by the way, for Q. I got too enthralled with all of that one. Very exciting stuff. Hamilton over the line. He goes into second place, a 54.0. That puts Ricciardo and Albon in the drop zone with Alonso, Bottas, and Stroll. Alonso isn't there anymore, though. He goes into 5th. Carlos Sainz is in the bottom 5. Albon moves back up into 9th place. Leclerc is on the bubble. Gasly is out. Ricciardo is definitely out as well. Leclerc needs this lap. So does Carlos Sainz, or Ferrari are in trouble. Leclerc over the line. Goes up into 5th place. That should be good enough. Easily good enough. What can Carlos Sainz do? These timing screens are odd. He goes 4th place, and he is through. So Albon drops back into the drop zone, and Valtteri Bottas only manages 14th place, to the relief, I'd imagine, of Sergio. I was waiting for Stroll to go across the line before I said it. To the relief of Sergio Perez, who gets through into Q3 by 3 thousandths of a second to Alex Albon. That was so bizarre, that session. How weird was that? Am I missing something? Someone will tell me in chat that I'm missing something, but that was just so odd. You look at the timing screens and nobody's doing anything, and then they're coming through the middle sector and going purple, or putting in a stonking final sector. This is the beauty of the length of the track of Spa. You've got some sections are dry, some are damp, and some are soaking wet or wetter, and it's causing all sorts of problems with the brain. Trying to work out who's going. I thought Hamilton was in trouble. He's second. Perez looked like he was through. He ended up 3 thousandths of a second scraping through. Gasly put in a stonking lap, looked like he was through, but now he's down in 12th place. That was great. I enjoyed that. That's a lot of fun. Great. It's the beauty of these wet, dry, wet sessions. They do make such a difference, and I enjoy that. So there we go. Kevin said it stopped raining and certain sectors really cleared up. They did, didn't they? It was just so strange seeing like Ocon purple in the first sector, and then not doing bad things, but not really spectacular elsewhere. And then the Mercedes not improving, then getting better. And then, yeah, really enjoyed that. That was good stuff. Very much enjoyed that. I'm going to refresh my stream again because for some reason we are... So I have to close chat for a second. So behave while I'm gone for a moment. Just 'cause I don't know why it keeps lagging today. It's probably my internet. I got Virgin Media. I said this last week. It's the best one in my area, but it had a right meltdown last week and it's not fully recovered. Annoyingly. So yes, I'm going to end that poll that we had going. Let me know in chat then. I'll just run through that order quickly. Verstappen, Hamilton and Russell, your top 3. Sainz in 4th, Piastri 5th, 6th was Leclerc, 7th Alonso, 8th Norris, 9th Ocon, 10th Perez, and only just through into Q3. Albon 11th, Gasly 12th, Ricciardo 13th, Bottas 14th, Stroll 15th. They're all out. Nico Hulkenberg out, Magnussen out, Tsunoda, Sargeant and Zhou also out. Zhou under investigation for impeding. That could be a penalty, but he will move up to 19th place because Tsunoda gets the the 60 place penalty for all the engine components he's taken. So that, I think, how penalties are actually no, Sonoda will still be 20th. Sorry. So Joe will move up to 19th, get a 3-place penalty, and still be 19th. I think is how that'll work. I'm not sure on the penalties. It seems to change, or it feels like it changed. It probably doesn't. But yeah, let me know in chat who you go for pole position. I picked Norris on Thursday with Verstappen's penalty in mind. For the sake of avoiding argument, pole means the driver who is fastest at the end of this session, at the end of Q3. I know technically speaking, whoever sets his fastest time isn't actually pole position until they line up on Sunday. But you know what I mean. So who's going to be fastest in Q3? Which driver? I went with Norris on Thursday. I'm inclined to lean towards Verstappen just because he seems to be hooked up in these mixed conditions. But the way McLaren are at the moment, you can't really write them out. So I'm gonna stick with Norris for my actual predictions, obviously, but I am gonna switch to Verstappen for now, just because it looks like he's got this well and truly sorted. Yeah, no, they're not. The ISP choices aren't great in some parts of Lincoln. The next alternative for where I am was Sky, and we had so many. You might remember actually we used to do some streams, me, you, and what's his name, Chaz. And I kept losing my internet and losing Sky and all sorts. It was just such a pain in the arse that I didn't want to go back to them. I refused to go back to them when we moved. So this was Virgin was the next or the best option over them. But yeah, please do leave a like as well. We're nearly at 811 of you here. We've nearly hit 1,000 as well today. So please do drop more likes than the 96. I massively appreciate it. It does wonders for the stream and the channel in the algorithm. So please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new. I'll do some shout outs shortly as well for those who subscribe. And thank you for your support as well in July. It's been absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that. But we have got Q3 still to come. So likes for Q3, subs for Q3, and just because you're a bunch of legends, that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much for your continued support. I can't believe we're in the summer break, by the way. It's appalling. And actually, without going into things too much, there should be some news in the next... But it depends. It could be this coming week. It could be a couple of weeks. But let's just, before Zandvoort, that some of you might want to stick around for. But yeah, we've got the top 10 shootout to come. Kevin's gone with Max. Stefan's gone with Piastri. RC's gone with Verstappen. Fudge has gone with Verstappen, Alonso on pole. Also, Verstappen fastest time, Alonso on pole. I like that. That's a fun way of doing it. Yeah. Piastri for Varun. Chloe says Max 100%. Chauncey says Perez will be fastest for the 10 meters before he hits the wall. Rude. Hamilton or Leclerc says Vibe. That'd be a hell of a story. Was spiced tomorrow, or really lovely, wouldn't it? Piastri, and just because I hope Piastri pulls some miracle out and claims pole. I'm delusional. You're saying that to a Ferrari fan, Anushka. I'm beyond delusional. Renique says Max. Hamilton 101% says King of the Battles. There you go. Eleanor says Checo getting better. Maybe you can get up there. Maybe you can beat up there. Yes, Murray, quite a throwback, going back quite a way there. CPB says Lando. Vincent says Max. Ripfire Gaming says Oscar. It is raining, by the way, just to let you know. Lewis says he's a good ahead of everybody, and Bono says depends what the rain does. Can anyone challenge Max? Says Shal. I'm not sure. He's looking good, isn't he, out there today? And a couple more. Aaron says Carlos. Glow and Grow says Carlos. And last one. Joe says Ocon 5-second penalty. There we go. That's the last one. We are green for the final part of qualifying. Take a breath. Put my headphones in so that I don't miss anything really interesting coming from Sky. That wasn't supposed to be as bitchy as it sounded, by the way. And a quick slug of drink, because it's that mist, that shot there just over Eau Rouge with the mist and the rain. It's so Belgium. It's also Spa. It's ridiculous. Mick Schumacher there with Toto in a garage. Toto Wolff. I don't know how to confirm who I was talking about. I wasn't about the band, was I? Or was I? You never know. Maybe they're performing Africa in the back of the Mercedes garage. See how we go. Yes, Ocon did make Q3. He did indeed. I mean, Gaz's lap was pretty stellar when he put it in, but he ended up back down in 12th place because it was such a bizarre Q2. So bizarre. Thank you to Natalie and Mark. I'll do some shout outs while we're just waiting for them to get their warm-up laps in. So thank you to Natalie and Mark Steeden and to Ross Whitehead for your subs. And I think it's James, but I'll give him another one. And Milker as well for your subs today. That's hugely appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Very much looking forward to the rest of this session and the rest of this season. And I've got to be honest, I'm not wishing life away. Don't worry. But I'm kind of really hyped for 2025, which could go one of two ways. An epic 2012 style season where it all goes down to the wire and it's full of drama, or Red Bull, for example, rock up with an absolute monster, or McLaren next year and disappear and dominate. But I think I think we'll have a great season next year and a great second half of this season as well. I know we're into the second half, but I tend to count the summer break as halfway. Used tyres, by the way, used Inters for Sainz, Leclerc, Alonso, Ocon and Perez. I don't think, and I hope I'm wrong, it'd be nice to see somebody try it at the end, I don't think we're going to see dry tyres because there's still rain in the air. And the start finished, still spray at the end of it into La Source. So, yeah, it's still a bit, I don't think we're going to see dries today. The official timing screen says, yes, it is raining. So, there we go. Track temperature 22.3, air temperature 17.9, humidity 93%. Yeah, that's it. See, we're either getting a 2010 or 2012 or a 2011, 2013. Yeah. Yes, Gab. Tsunoda has a 60-place penalty for engine components. So he's going to be last whatever happens today. So don't forget as well, Verstappen carries a 10-second time penalty and 10-second grid penalty. And we think, not 10 seconds, 10-place grid penalty. And we think Zhou is likely to get a 3-place drop as well for impeding. But that's not going to ruin his day at all. He's already right down the bottom. But yeah, Hamilton then, it doesn't really wet through this middle sector, the first part of the middle sector, particularly around where he is now, so sort of 7, 8, 9. Looks quite wet there, but then dries up again. It's just an interesting track. It's going to be so interesting to watch how this unfolds, but I think it's going to be busy throughout for sure. I think constructors might get interesting if Max gets screwed over continuously. Lando could close the distance in driver points, says Vibe. I think we've got a constructors battle on. There is an argument based on the way they've taken the points out of Red Bull over the last few races that at the moment, with Perez in the form he's in, you could argue McLaren are favourites, but I would always lean towards the favourites being the ones that have the advantage, which is Red Bull, who have the points at the moment. So, but it's all down to Perez. If he performs, it could get interesting and they might hang on Red Bull, but McLaren at the moment, I think 60-odd points have outscored Red Bull by in the last few races. So it's game on in that championship. I'm not convinced on the Drivers' Championship, but lots of people keep telling me I'm wrong. So we'll see come Abu Dhabi, won't we? Which will be here before you know it. I'm already planning Christmas. Over the line goes Lewis Hamilton on a 54.011. He is fastest at the moment. Russell over the line of 54.243. Ocon purple in the first sector. Piastri purple in the middle sector. Piastri now just coming through the final couple of corners. He looks like he might be about to go fastest and does not. Shut up, Sean. Goes second, 54.027. 16,000 slower than Hamilton. Ocon goes fourth on a 54.8, so 8 tenths between the top four at the moment. What does Lando Norris do? Only a 54.2. Interesting. Purple final sector, though. So purple sectors, Ocon, now Perez in the middle sector, and Norris in the final sector. So nobody seems to have a whole lap purple at the moment today, I've not seen. Maybe in Q1 Verstappen did, but yeah, Alonso, 54.7 goes fifth. What is Sainz going to do? Over the line, he goes 54.4. Just behind him will be Charles Leclerc. Hamilton's still fastest to 54 flat. Verstappen's on 54.5. Perez is next across the line. I think he's going to be moving off from 10th place. Pretty confident on that. And goes fastest on a 53.7. But Max Verstappen was 2 tenths quicker in the middle sector than Sergio Perez and is about to cross the line and does a 153.159, 6 tenths of a second quicker than Perez, 8.5 tenths quicker than Hamilton and Piastri, a second quicker than Russell and Norris, 1.3 quicker than the Ferraris, 1.6 quicker than Ocon, 1.6 quicker than Alonso, and that's despite a moment at turn 14. That is a heck of a lap. Was that, I don't know, it was back end stepping out. I was watching the wrong tyres. It was definitely not track limits. His fronts were fine. Oh, and Piastri was wide as well through the corner with no name, or Jackie X, whatever you want to call it. Should we just call it turn 9. That'll be easy, won't it? And he did kick up gravel, so there's time lost there for Oscar again. So where is he? 8 tenths. I mean, that's not costing him 8.5 tenths of a second, but maybe a couple of tenths there. Max Verstappen is on it. You're right, Anushka. He's flying lap. Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. 5.5 minutes to go. I assume everyone's going to come in now for a fresh set of inters. Ocon is in. Hamilton is going again. So Hamilton's obviously happy on these. These are new inters actually on the Mercedes. So Ocon's were used. Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz and Perez used as well. So maybe 2 laps out of these. No, because you're not going to be able to get in and get another set on, are you? I was going to say 2 laps on these and then 1 lap on another set, but the track's so long, 5 minutes to go. You're looking at nearly 2 minutes here for this lap, which Hamilton's on now. You're down to 3 minutes. Then you've got to put the tyres on and get round again. You might. No, you're not going to. No. Stop it, Sean. Don't even try and work that out. So this is it then. They're happy on those tyres. That's not a bad shout, actually. From Positron, who says that McLaren seems to have set the car up for the dry. That could be possible. But I'm not. The only counter I'd make is I don't think Red Bull would have set Verstappen up for the wet, given that tomorrow is forecast to be dry. I think most of these will be set up towards a dry setup. I don't know how to put setup in there twice. You know what I mean? It's a fair point. They might have gone heavier towards a dry setup. I don't know, but I think everyone's going to be leaning that way because it's supposed to be dry tomorrow. But then again, having said that, it's Spa and it could rain at any moment. So there you go. Hamilton not improving in the first sector. Neither is Piastri or Russell. So this second run, if I were Hamilton, which I'm not, Piastri or Russell, I would be in at the end of this lap. Hamilton is improving in the middle sector, but he's still 4.5 down. 4.5 tenths down, and Piastri's also middle sector is where the improvement is. But is that enough to want to stay out, or can you come in and put another? Have they got fresh sets? Quite a lot of inters. They might need some if it does rain tomorrow. So, yeah, keep an eye on what he does here, Hamilton. He might want to complete the lap actually because he is green. Yeah, he's going to go for the lap. He's going to go for it. So I'm about to make a fool of myself. And he stays third, 53.8. Still. 6 tenths and he's 7 tenths off the pace. Piastri doesn't improve, stays 4th. I'd have pitted. Russell does improve but stays 5th, a second off the pace. So they're not going to get in and out again. So all those that came in for fresh inters might be sitting pretty. And over the line goes Norris to go P4, 53.9. So moves ahead of Piastri. I mean, they can cool down and go another lap and go for one more push. But I'm wondering if the fresh inters might have been the way to go there. In fact, Verstappen feels it clearly was, because he's now coming out on track with 2 minutes 50 to go. So, to confirm, coming up to the 2.5 minute mark, let's say, Verstappen fastest, 6 tenths of a second quicker than Perez. Is the 6 tenths out there? Perez, by the way, is out behind Verstappen. Is he going to get a toe here? Quite a gap, though. Hamilton is 3rd place. Norris 4th. Piastri in 5th. 6th place is Russell, 7th is Sainz, 8th is Leclerc, 9th is Alonso, and 10th is Ocon. 1.6 separate the top 10. 6 tenths separate the top 2. Yeah, it's quite, yeah. Not sure where Martin thinks the pace of Hamilton is going to come from. I imagine that that'll be his last flying lap, says Narmatonia. I've butchered that, I think, but yeah, stick with me. I mean, we'll see. I mean, you can wind down now, can't he? Cool everything down, charge everything up, and go again for one last attempt. But that middle attempt that he just made wasn't great. It was a bit of an improvement on his lap time. Don't get me wrong, but it's not improved his position and wasn't really anywhere near those top. Well, Verstappen, let's face it. We've got a Ferrari winding up for a lap here, which is Carlos Sainz with Leclerc just behind him. We've got a gaggle of cars out there together. Alonso, Verstappen, Piastri and Hamilton. They want to start making some space. I think Verstappen's just overtaken Alonso. So obviously he wants that space there. We don't want them in the mess there. So we've got new inters for Verstappen. Hamilton's already on the new inters one. It's technically used now. Norris, Piastri again on those from the pit stop. Leclerc and Sainz. And it says Alonso and Ocon unused again. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here. No, definitely no toe for Perez. Massive gap now between it. Perez was behind. You saw it. Keeda, I'm definitely sure you saw it. When they came out, they were together. But yeah, Verstappen is now 4 cars clear of Perez. There's Alonso, Hamilton, Piastri, and Russell behind them. So yeah, it's not going to happen. Rain possibly increasing around the circuit, Norris is told. Sainz, as has become a theme, so wide through 9, as has become a theme in this qualifying session, has not improved in the first sector, but Leclerc has. So I can't work out where the best conditions are here, but we'll see what Leclerc and Sainz can do. Hopefully better than 7th and 8th. There was talk this weekend. They were in the mix for some top positions, but maybe the rain has thrown them a little bit. Verstappen, because he just is improving on his own time. 31.9 in the first sector. The purple sector, by the way, still belongs to Ocon on the 31.8. He's also purple in the speed trap, so that explains that one. 311 kilometers an hour, a whole kilometer faster than Piastri, 4 quicker than Verstappen. So that's where that pace is coming from for Alpine, which, by the way, bodes very well for tomorrow for the likes of Pierre Gasly as well as Esteban Ocon, trying to make their way through the pack. So that's tomorrow's problem, though. We're currently focusing on qualifying. Over the line, then, for Carlos Sainz through the final sector in Q3. The checkered flag is out. All these laps have got to count. Sainz does not improves his time, but doesn't improve his position. 54. What can Charles Leclerc do? He gets a second place, Leclerc, 53.7. And that's a cracking improvement. Verstappen is not improving in the middle sector. We're only 4.5 hundredths down on his own time. What's Perez doing? He's not improving. Hamilton is improving, 32 flat, a tenth slower than Verstappen. So he's in the mix in the first sector, but is a whopping 1.1 seconds down in the middle. So something's happened to Hamilton there, I assume. Or he's just not quick in that sector. Round the final corner then for Max Verstappen. What's he going to do? Currently on not provisional pole. He is P1 in quali. Does not improve. Stays on a 153.159 and nearly 6/10 clear. It was a purple final sector though over Leclerc. Now watch everyone else. So Alonso over the line. Stays 9th. Next up is going to be Lewis Hamilton, who didn't have a great middle sector. What's he going to do? P4. Stays P4 pits actually. So maybe an error there. Piastri stays 6th. Russell has pitted as well, so game over for Russell. Has he pitted? Yeah, Russell's pitted as well. Perez nowhere in the middle sector. I think he's going to pit too. That is once again. Oh, sorry, folks. That was a bit of an anticlimactic finish. I don't think we expected Max Verstappen to be beaten there, given the gap. But Hamilton, Perez, Russell, all pitting at the end there. So, that's pole position for Charles Leclerc, I suppose. Because, yeah. So Max Verstappen has set the fastest time in qualifying 3. He will drop to P11 tomorrow. But Charles Leclerc, it's just dawned on me, is on pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix, or will be on pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix tomorrow. Yes, Nick, with Sergio, Checo, Perez alongside him. Lewis Hamilton will start 3rd. Lando Norris 4th. Oscar Piastri 5th. George Russell 6th. Carlos Sainz 7th. Fernando Alonso 8th. Esteban Ocon 9th. Alex Albon will be 10th, assuming, of course, no further penalties. And Max Verstappen will start 11th place. Wet conditions, of course. So that plays a part. We also have to consider strategy tomorrow. The overtaking delta is less here, but it's still not easy because we've got quite a close field. But that kind of pace advantage tomorrow, which I'm not saying he's going to have, but if he were to have it tomorrow, he's probably going to win from 11th. But of course, dry conditions, completely different kettle of fish, isn't it? You know, it's a dry track. McLaren might be stronger on race pace. Their race pace on Friday was really solid, actually, McLaren. Ferrari could be in a minute. It's going to be tough for him. But if it was like this and the gap was that tomorrow on pace, then we'd have a shot from 11th, but it's still going to be tough. But what a race we've got tomorrow then. Battle down to turn 1 between Leclerc and Perez. I would argue, not necessarily based on the qualifying pace we saw today, Norris and Piastri are out of position, given where they've been in recent weeks. So they've got to come through some cars. So that's going to be interesting. Max Verstappen is out of position down in the 11th place, so he's going to come through. We've got a really fascinating race tomorrow. And if it rains, because you never know, it could be really, really fun. In fact, let's have a check of that, actually, because there'll be somebody that asks it. It's usually Kevin that throws that question at me, what's the weather for tomorrow? So let's have a look. I don't know if it is Kevin, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm blaming you, Kev. Weather tomorrow, nice and warm and sunny by the look of it. Yeah. Local time 3 o'clock lights, that, isn't it? So 20 degrees, no threat of rain. In fact, the rain tomorrow, the threat at 3 o'clock is 0%. So it is going to be a dry race as it stands. But again, you never quite know with Belgium, do it? It tends to be a bit of a surprise from time to time. So there we go. Should be quite a night. About 20 degrees, I think, in terms of Celsius. So that's whatever that is in Fahrenheit. I'll let you guys work that one out on this one. But yes, so Max Verstappen, as I sit here trying not to get too giddy about Charles Leclerc being on pole, has set the fastest lap of the day. So that's got to be said. But we already knew he was taking that 10-place grid drop tomorrow for the new ICE, which I think Christian Horner said before the session or after practice to Sky, I think, that they are confident they'll be okay for the rest of the year now. So that is the engine change they needed to take in the next 3 or 4 races. They did it here because it's the best chance to overtake. So it makes a lot of sense. 68 degrees apparently in Fahrenheit. So there we go tomorrow. So a warmer day than it has been today in Belgium, but not boiling hot like we saw in Hungary last time out. So that could be a fun watch tomorrow. Tyres might not get tuned up. It's quite stressful on tyres. It's one of the highest of the year in terms of tyre stress. So the tyres are going to get put through the ringer tomorrow, but deg might not be horrifically bad, but it'll still be quite high. It'll be a 2-stopper tomorrow. I'll be very surprised if it's not a 2-stopper. But yeah, it is officially. It'll all be accredited in the history books as a Charles Leclerc pole position. Because for those who don't know, pole isn't the fastest time in qualifying. It's whoever lines up on the grid spot 1 tomorrow. Lots of yellow flags out there as the marshal's going to have to sweep up some gravel, I'd imagine. Usually when the session finishes, a lot of people tend to disappear. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes and we'll talk about the session. Look forward to tomorrow, answer some questions as well, a bit of waffle. But if you are leaving, thank you so much for your support. It's great to see you. Please do leave a like before you go. 150, let's get that over 200. That'd be epic. 580 still officially here. Concurrent viewers, as YouTube like to call them. So please do leave a like. That really does help in the algorithm. And it's free, doesn't cost anything. And do subscribe as well if you are new. We're live tomorrow. Shortly after race for some reaction. I've got Will with me tomorrow. Thank you to Chief Tame, by the way, for your sub a little bit earlier. Yeah, we've got Will with me tomorrow because Stuart's gone out and got a life. Not impressed. I'm joking. Looking forward to talking to Will. It's been a while, actually, so it'll be nice to chat to him. So make sure you join us for that one. So subs, likes, that'd be greatly appreciated. And I will keep banging on about it because I want that over 200. That'd be epic. Kaori says, people leaving whilst I'm jumping back in. Hey, Kaori, hope you're well. Yeah, we're gonna waffle for 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll call it a day as we tend to do on a Saturday. Of course, we've got the stream tomorrow anyway, so we can catch up again then. But yeah, no, Charles is pole position. So to confirm, Max Verstappen set the fastest. Actually, stop. I need to do a pause for the timestamp. Guys, you need to stop me. You need to stop me. You know what I'm like. Have a quick drink and a pause. It's just the easiest way to do it. I'll come back to it later. I'll see on the YouTube video on the VOD where I stopped talking, and that's where I can put my timestamp. It's lovely. Max Verstappen set the fastest time in qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix, 1:53.159. He will take a 10-place grid penalty, though, and drop to P11 tomorrow, which means Charles Leclerc, who finished second in qualifying, nearly 0.6 of a second off Max Verstappen, it has to be said, will be on pole position. Yeah, baby, a Ferrari pole. It took me about 10 minutes to realise that, but we did get a Ferrari pole, which is awesome. Sergio Perez, he was third today. 0.6 off his teammate, but will move into second place on the front row alongside Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton qualified fourth, will start in third. He was 6.5, just over tenths off the fastest time. The McLarens were a bit of a surprise today, I must say. Lando Norris 5th and Piastri 6th. Both 8 and 8.5 tenths off respectively. So Norris 8.22, Piastri 8.68. So quite a way off the pace in the end. I would expect, based on Friday's race pace, they should be quicker tomorrow. Norris will start 4th, Piastri in 5th. George Russell will bump up to 6th place from 7th. He was a second off the pace. Carlos Sainz ended up 8th, 1.3 seconds off. Of course, he then gains a place because of Verstappen's penalty. Fernando Alonso, 9th place inside the top 10, 1.6 seconds off. He'll move up to 8th place. Esteban Ocon made it into Q3 with that awesome Deadpool Wolverine livery. Very impressed with that one. 54.8, 1.6 seconds off the pace as well. He moves up to 9th place. Alex Albon was 11th on the day, but he will move up to 10th tomorrow, with Max Verstappen slotting into 11th place, of course. Pierre Gasly will be 12th with Daniel Ricciardo 13th, and Valtteri Bottas in 14th place. Lance Stroll 15th, 16th for Nico Hulkenberg, 17th for Kevin Magnussen, 18th for Yuki Tsunoda at the moment. Of course, he's got a 60 place grid drop because of power unit components, so that'll drop him down to the back of the grid. Logan Sargeant only 19th, and Zhou Guanyu in 20th place, possibly going to get a 3-place grid drop for maybe impeding Max Verstappen. See what the stewards do, but that won't change much. He will move to 19th place, though, because of all the penalties that poor Yuki's got to endure. So, yes, it will be 19th Zhou, I believe, and Tsunoda 20th. So there we go. That is your run. Like I said, big surprise of the day. I'd say Charles Leclerc, actually, second place. A huge surprise. I wasn't expecting that, given that Ferrari were, at times, having to get some pretty important laps in towards the end of those sessions to avoid being knocked out. So that's a bit of a surprise. And again, I think the pace of you could say Perez being up there is a surprise. A few people might be shocked at that one, but I think the pace of the McLaren was a little bit surprising. I thought they'd be in the fight for pole, but again, that race pace on Friday, Red Bull looked good, McLaren looked very good. That could be really interesting. And a dry race is forecast as things stand tomorrow. But for the millionth time in this stream, it's Spa. It could chuck it down at any moment. So we'll see what happens there. So if you've got any questions about the session, about the race tomorrow, about F1 in general, or about anything you like, I'll come to you in chat for the next 15 minutes or so. We'll do some waffle and then we'll call it. I will stay, no later than 4:30 UK time, so 20 minutes from now, because I need to go and get a Lemsip because I'm sad and sore throat, and there you go. Anushka says, from when did you start watching F1? It was 1992, actually the first race of the season, the South African Grand Prix. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Nigel Mansell, I think, won that one. He won pretty much everything. Yeah, well done. He won the first 5 races in 92, didn't he? So he will have won that one. So, yeah, that was my first race, 1992. All those years ago. All those years ago. It feels like forever ago, but at the same time doesn't. So, yeah, that was my first race. I've watched every race live apart from the 2000 German Grand Prix, which was the last race I missed live because we went to Cleethorpes for Party at the Pier, or Party on the Pier, where we went to see 5A1 Billy Piper, or I think it was just called Billy back then. Yeah, all these obscure groups that no one ever heard of. I think Scooch were there. I think they were called something else back then. But yeah, that was the last race I missed. Yeah, Ruben's win. Of all the ones to miss, Max, was Ruben starting 18th and finishing in the win, getting the win, despite that, I think he was on dry tyres, wasn't it, at the end, and others were on wets, and it was absolute chaos. I did record it on my VHS. That's the videotapes that we used to have back in the day. Took me ages to do it on the planner, but yeah, got that recorded and did watch it when I get home. But yeah, that was quite a one to miss. Wing races, I started watching regularly in 1984. Lauda beat Prost by 0.5 point. Yes. That's what the Murray Walker used to always talk about when he talked about points, didn't he? And how close titles were in the past. So yeah, 1984. 2 years before I was born, actually, to be fair. Do you know what, Wing Racer? No offence, it's nice to say that. I've got people in chat now saying, I wasn't even born then, or Mike saying I was -2 at that time. It's nice to be able to say to you that I wasn't even born then, so a bit of revenge there. Sorry, Wing Racer. Yeah. I started watching 2015, says Anushka. Gonzo started watching 1984 as well. 2015 wasn't a great year, was it? It wasn't bad, but at least you were here for the brief Ferrari resurgence in 17 and 18, and of course 2021. Pascal was 1993. Yes, Jonathan, that is very much how I feel. Actually, I think that is actually a picture of me, that emoji. Certainly how I think I look in my brain. Started watching 2020, says Joseph. Superman says, because Perez hasn't finished as many races, he has more engines, I take it. I think, I'm not sure. I honestly don't know on that one. I can just quickly, I wonder if the FIA did put that out at the start of the weekend. They usually do. I can let you know about power units. But I think the thing with the Verstappen thing is that he had that engine go wrong in Japan, didn't he? and that's why they've ended up with the penalty. And having to take a new unit because they lost one from the pool basically because of that failure. PU elements used per driver. There we go. So Perez has used. So we know that Verstappen's taken a penalty, so he's on 5 now. Well, no, Perez has used 5 ICEs. You know, so when did he take a? Oh no, he took one the other week, didn't he? Because he qualified badly, so they put one in. So yeah, so Perez is now over the penalty limit anyway. So he's already taken penalties for ICE, energy store, and control electronics. So he's on the bubble for everything else. Who's looking best, just out of interest? George Russell and Lewis Hamilton have used 3 of each of the ICE, turbocharger, MGUH, MGUK, and then one of the energy store and control electronics. So Mercedes looking good there for reliability, which probably isn't massively surprising. So yeah, no. But I think, yeah, that's what caught Red Bull out was the issue with the Honda engine or the RBPT engine in Japan. So I don't think Perez doesn't have. I've just gone through that. Perez doesn't have more, but yeah, that's why I had to get the penalty there. Keep in mind, just because someone takes a new engine doesn't mean the old engines are all unusable. Very good point. This is just a good track to take the penalty at. If you know you will need one at some point. Absolutely wing racer. It's how was it phrased? The overtaking delta here is lower than other tracks. So at some tracks you need like 2.5 seconds over the car ahead to overtake. Here it's much less than that. So starting down the 11th place, you've got a better chance with less of a speed advantage or a pace advantage to get past the cars ahead to get through the field. So it's a good track to take it at. Monza would have been a fair shout, but it's not as easy in quotes, to overtake on as Spa. And I would never take an engine. Well, one, I wouldn't take an engine penalty at Zandvoort if I was Max Verstappen anyway, because it's his home Grand Prix, but also that's a tricky track to overtake on. And then I think you've got Azerbaijan and Singapore after that. So I think it's the right time to take it. Plus, it tends to be the traditional place Red Bull take them as well. So, I mean, maybe we'll get, was it 2017 in Monza? Where I think we had qualifying and nobody knew the actual result of qualifying or the grid, because like everybody took penalties. That was the one where Hamilton was on pole and I think Lance Stroll was front row with him, I think. So yeah, it's Monza. We might get lots of penalties at Monza, which could be interesting. But yeah, that's what I've taken this weekend, because you can overtake. But yeah, so Gasly to last a full lap before retiring, says Society Canvas. Be nice, wouldn't it? Just to get a lap in, a couple of laps in. Poor Pierre, he's had a rough couple of races, but now I think seems to be good pace in Alpine. And just another point again to make. I did make the point in Q3. Esteban Ocon, fastest in the Alpine in the first sector and fastest in the speed trap. So that's something that could be really important tomorrow for Gasly coming through from 12th place and Ocon from 10th. So they could be really, really pacey down that Kemmel Straight, which down the Kemmel Straight and into Lake Comet Turn 5 is where we're going to see most of the overtaking, I would have thought, tomorrow. There'll be some side-by-side stuff through 6 and 7, and maybe we'll get some into Turn 1, but and the bus stop. But that's the spot, really, and that's going to be ideal for them tomorrow. So Nick says, still think McLaren will dominate tomorrow. Charles and Checo will fight Max for the final podium. Well, Christian Horner said that the aim for Verstappen tomorrow is a podium. He said that before the session, so they're not actually thinking of the win. And like I say, that race pace from McLaren was really strong on Friday. So I think you're probably right, Nick. They've got some cars to get through. Hamilton, Perez, and Leclerc first. Norris will need to get that start right tomorrow. So yeah, Pew Pew says Ferrari will start from P1. Yes, Pew Pew, it's very exciting. Charles Leclerc is on official pole position. So there you go. In fact, they're now doing it on Sky, the official pole lap, which is Charles Leclerc, a 53.754, which messes up my averages, by the way. But anyway, I'm not sure. I need to go back and do. I've got a spreadsheet, an Excel document with all the qualifying lap times, fastest lap times for each driver compared to their teammate. And in Silverstone, because of the rain, Verstappen was 12 seconds quicker than Perez. I think I'm going to have to delete those to get a fairer average, because at the moment I think Perez is about 3 seconds slower on average than Max Verstappen, but actually when you take that out, it's about 0.6. So I don't know why you needed to know that. I just thought I'd share it with you. There you go. Do you think it's a must-win for Sergio Perez, or will P2 or P3 be good enough for Red Bull to stay for the rest of the season? That's a very good question. I guess if this it might sound weird, but if Red Bull were absolutely sold that Ricciardo was the answer, I'm not convinced that swap wouldn't have happened already. So I wonder if that could be, as I've said before, the saving grace for Perez. They're not sure on Ricciardo. But Gamer said, how the hell did Checo get there? Sorry, it made me laugh because it was, what was I? Whoa. It was an HITC7's video on managers, and it had the meme there with the polar bear. It's like, how did the polar bear get to... And that's just what I thought of when I saw Checo there. Sorry, Gabriel. Anyway, back to the point. Yeah, so I think if he wins, he's probably got a shot at staying. But I think the goal for Perez isn't necessarily to win. If he finishes 4th tomorrow behind Verstappen, there'll be a lot of people saying, oh, hang on a minute, Verstappen started 11th, Checo was 2nd, and he's finished behind him. That's absolutely awful. But actually, Verstappen coming through the field is kind of almost expected if he gets through the first few corners of that incident. And a podium is what they're aiming for. So if he gets 3rd and Perez is 4th, they might look at that and say, well, he's followed Verstappen home, which is what they want him to do. I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I really don't. But winning it, I don't think he will win it. I don't think the pace is there to win it. But if he does, you never know. In Spa, a safety car at the right time, a shower at the right time could change everything. But I don't think he will win it. And he just needs to be following Verstappen home. If Verstappen wins, he needs to be, 2nd, 3rd, even 4th place behind the McLaren isn't horrifically bad. If Verstappen's 3rd, he needs to be 4th or higher if he can split the McLarens. If they're up there, he just needs to be in the mix more, because the last few races in particular, Verstappen's been left vulnerable to McLaren, and that's just going to cost him the World Championship. So, and that's where the money is, definitely. So, happy birthday, Anushka. It's Anushka's birthday today. Hope you had a great day. Yeah, got every. I don't know. I never said birthdays. Got everything you wanted, or you were spoiled rotten. I hope you were. The birthday is when you're supposed to spoil people. So there you go. I hope you had a good one. Happy birthday. I'm not going to sing. Don't worry, Anushka. I won't sing. I'm not going to do that for you. If Perez wins, does all the talk end? Says Pineapple. No. If you've been around and you've watched F1 long enough, Perez could win Belgium, Zandvoort, Monza, Baku, Singapore, and there'll still be somebody somewhere going in a YouTube video going, oh yeah, but actually he didn't do very well before that, so he still should be dropped because it's, it gets you clicks, lots of clicking. That's all that matters now. We don't, without getting into it too much, people don't really tend to care too much about the truth and what's actually going on. They just like to get the clicks, and that's all that matters to them. So I like to speculate. I like to chat with you all and come up with these crazy theories, and I do like a nice tinfoil hat theory, but I'd like to think I've got a bit more integrity than that. Also, Pineapple, yes, dry race is predicted for tomorrow, or forecast for tomorrow's. It won't, and I can promise you I can't sing. I'm a terrible singer. Lee says, and Max is fighting for the chat. Look, I do not believe the Drivers' Championship is under any threat. I think Max Verstappen is going to be, at the end of this season, a 4-time world champion. It's the constructors where it's all like, as you know, you'll know this, Lee. You've already worked that one out. That's the fight. I'm not buying into... If we get to 3 races at the end of the season and somehow Norris has clawed it back to 5 points, then of course we're having a completely different conversation, but I just don't see it. I could see Verstappen dropping points to McLaren through this season. I can't see him dropping 70-odd points or whatever the gap is. I just don't see it. Stranger things have happened, and maybe we'll eat those words come Abu Dhabi, but at the moment I don't think so, and that's the way it is. Don't forget, by the way, F2 is starting in about, I think, 45 minutes, I think Jonty said-ish, 5:15 UK time, 6:15 local time, so European time. So keep an eye on that one if you do like your F2. That's coming up in the track. If a bit of rain, just to keep it a bit damp. It is raining, by the way, because Sky have their brollies up. What was I going to say? I was going to say this about Sky as well. Try not to be an a-hole about it, by the way. Natalie Pinkham, Naomi Schiff, and Bernie Collins in my opinion, as a hosting 3, are miles clear of what we sometimes get at Sky. I think they work really well. The chemistry's great. Bernie Collins is incredible. Oh, by the way, got a book the other day. I'm going to give that a read. How to Win a Grand Prix? Yeah, Bernie Collins, absolutely fantastic pundit and expert. A lot of love for Bernie Collins is what I'm saying. So I think they do a great job. I really, really do. But I'm not the biggest Simon Lazenby fan. I don't know why. It was Dan that did it to me. Good old Dan. I didn't used to have a problem then. Dan started rubbing off on me, which sounds really wrong, but he did, and that's why I maybe changed my view of that one. But anyway, let's not go. I'm not slagging Sky off again. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying I really think that this 3 is brilliant. I don't stream F2. Sean, by the way, great name. First of all, most important thing to say, and spelled correctly as well, which is great. No, I don't do the F2 just because I can't. I don't think I'll double check, but I don't think Multiviewer do the F2 timing, so I don't stream. No, they don't. So I don't stream the F2 because I haven't got F1 TV Pro, unfortunately, so I can't do that. But maybe one day it will be cool because I really enjoy the F2 and it's bonkers. But I'm going to go off and get some dinner soon, I think. Do a spag bowl because it's Saturday. It's like a tradition for me. Channel 4's better than Sky. Yeah, I enjoyed the Channel 4 coverage at Silverstone. That was great. Yeah, I'm gonna do a slag off Sky watch-along one day. No, they're not that bad. Just it's not what it was when they first started. It was all technical analysis and really interesting stuff, and now the focus is, I guess, this is inevitable now, is just all on speculation. And again, I know, hypocrite, I like to speculate, but it's, I don't know, recent years, Pineapple, I'm trying to think really when it's specifically for me, I don't know, I don't know, probably mid 2021, but then it was before that, wasn't it? It was because that's the, I don't know. I can't. Do you know what? I'll have a think, and if I can think of it between now and tomorrow, if you are on the Watchalong Pineapple, then we might come back to that tomorrow, and I'll think about it. But I'm just trying to pinpoint in the moment. But yeah, I like Ant as well. He's great. I like Anthony Davis, and he's funny as well, and he's a bit, no shade, a bit nerdy like me. So I do like it. Yeah. Any questions? So we've got we'll do 4 more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. So any questions on today? Tomorrow, F1 in general, and I'll quickly do some quick fire-ish answers for you. Friendly Home says, do you think Perez contract will be revoked when he is under the top 3? We've kind of covered that already. I think following Max home gives him a chance. Let's put it that way. Machine Hum, thank you very much for your super chat. Says Checo has a pattern over the years that are worse than anything Gasly or Albon. We know he has good days in him, but not enough. Keeping him on after pattern of 1 good performance in 6 would be madness. Thank you very much for your super chat, Machine Hum, and your support there. And that's actually an excellent point. It's very easy, and I've done it in this stream. It's very easy to look at Belgium as, what happens if Checo finishes top 3 or top 4. But in reality, Red Bull have got to assess this, as Machine Hum has said there, over the last 5-6 races. They can't just say, he was terrible here, he was terrible here, did okay here, was great in Belgium, let's keep him. They've got to look at the bigger picture, because he might have a great Belgium and then a terrible Zandvoort, a terrible Monza, an okay Baku, an awful Singapore, and suddenly the decision looks bad. So they have to make the decision based on longer than just one race. I completely agree with that. Yeah, that's a very good point. So thank you again for your super chat. I appreciate that. CPB says, would you, Jonathan Stewart, consider doing a fantasy season video during a dead period, e.g. 70s drivers in 2000s cars on modern drivers in 80s cars and etc.? Maybe. We're still going to get to the master stream, don't we, at some point? Jonty and I do. We'll get there eventually. Maybe. We'll see. Sinead says, do you have high hopes for Albon? I do like Albon a lot. I'm surprised he wasn't more heavily linked to some of the seats that are available, particularly Mercedes. I know the link was there, but it went quite quickly. But I do like that he's committed to Williams at the same time, because I think he leads that team well. He's got some good speed. He's a nice guy, which is always a bonus. And he seems to have a great relationship with James Vowles as well. So I really do like that working relationship and the way he is at Williams. So I hope that he stays there and could be the driver that helps turn that team around. And I'd love Williams to be right back at the sharp end again, and I'd love Alex Albon to be part of that, because I think he's a good guy. Oscar Piastri just coming on the TV now, so give him a nod and a salute, because he's a legend. Not literally a legend, but there you go. Thanks for the live watch along. Fun with so many. Cheers. Thank you, Gonzo Johnny. Thank you for your support today. Good to see you. Hopefully see you for Zandvoort in a few weeks' time. It's a long way off, isn't it? Appreciate the support from everybody today who's hanging around. We're 6 away from 200 likes, by the way. So, or 5 away. 5 more likes and we're there. That'd be incredible. Kimi R as a Sky commentator. Your thoughts? What? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. That'd be great. Kimi Räikkönen as a Sky commentator would be fantastic. Especially, I don't think he'd take Crofty's BS if he was in the commentary box, so that'd be quite funny. What do you think of Ocon at Haas? Not good for Ollie Behrman, says Society Canvas. I'm not going to get into my defending of Esteban Ocon and people's belief that he's a danger to everybody else and himself. I think it's easy to do that, but I don't think that he's as bad as people make out. I think he's a good pick for Haas. Of the available drivers, he's a race winner. He's got experience now. He's got knowledge of a direct rival, I guess, in Alpine, which the knowledge is, oh my God, this is an absolute fustercluck, but it's still knowledge, isn't it? And I think he's got potential. I think Haas, they've got ambitions, apparently, and he wants to be part of that. I think he's a good pick. But I think, yeah, I like Ocon. I like Ocon sighted canvas. I'm always going to defend him to a point. But I think, yeah, exactly, CPB. I think some of it's true. Some of the Ocon stuff is absolutely bang on, but I think a lot of it is for some people it's jumping on a bandwagon. For others it's just they've made their minds up, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. Yeah, but this is accurate sighted canvas. You've said defending is not something anyone can do. I can, because you said there his history against teammates is much worse than what he brings. But when you go back and look at this history of teammates, I said I don't want to do this, but we'll get into it very quickly. If you go back to his history against teammate, you can find these videos online of 10 times Ocon collided with teammates, and you'll go through it, and then 8 of them are either the other driver's fault or a 50-50, and then 2 are Ocon. Those aren't the exact numbers, but that kind of thing. I think sometimes it gets skewed, and the media pick up on it, and social media pick up on it, and it's like, oh, Ocon's a danger, but he's not. He could be dirty. I'm not denying that, but he could be very aggressive and he can be over the line. We saw it with Alonso a few times, didn't we? But just the fact that people think that means he's a dreadful driver is just. No, and at a team like Haas, I made the point earlier, I don't know if you were here, but I made the point earlier, at a team like Haas, even if he is an absolute menace, it's the perfect place for him. Magnussen could be an absolute menace. Grosjean could have been was an absolute menace at times, wasn't he? Mazepin, Schumacher, they've had their crashes and their moments too, so it's a great place for him in that regard. So I'm sure they've got plenty of spare parts, but yeah, no, I like Ocon. I will defend him to that point, but I'll also concede that I know that he can be, like I say, over the line, definitely. Yeah, Max could have left more space though, but yeah, no, but I agree, and that's coming from a Max Verstappen fan. So, yeah, true, Nick. Maybe that's the case. One more, then I'm going to wrap up because I've gone over the time. So, all the time I said, not that it matters. I can sit here till 10 o'clock tonight if you want, but I don't think people are going to stick around till 10 o'clock tonight. Yeah, let's not get into Vettel and Webber. No, don't get me started on Vettel and Webber. Back on engine talk. Apparently, Alpine is going to run out of engines this year as the engineers are going on strike if they take Mercedes engines, says Maury. Is that true? Or are you trying to find a story that gets me really excited? I'll look into that one, but that's, well, if they take Mercedes engines, maybe they will, because that's the Renault Works team. They might not be happy about that, but that could be quite funny. Could be quite funny and also an absolute disaster. I don't know how true that is, but I'm going to say it and just go and do some reading and see what I can find. I'm not going to commit to an answer until I know for sure. I suspect possibly a bit cheeky, but I might be wrong. Yeah, we'll leave it there then. We'll leave it there. Oh, thank you very much. Sorry. To Ace Fulgent for your super chat, your support. Says, just tuned in finally. Something for the Tifosi. What a perfect way. The perfect way to end the stream there. Some positivity for Ferrari from a super chat. Thank you very much again for your super chat. Really appreciate that and your support on the channel. Yes, Ferrari on pole position. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Charles Leclerc on pole position for tomorrow's Belgian Grand Prix with Sergio Perez alongside. That is going to be a lot of fun into turn one. Leclerc needs a great result, actually, and Sergio Perez needs a result. That could get quite tasty on the first lap. Something else very quickly before we go, just to point out as well, for tomorrow, second place on the grid, not a bad place to be, and neither's third, because you've got the slipstream down the Kemmel straight to turn 5. So Leclerc might need to do some defending on that run to turn 5. Perez could be well placed to be leading, but we shall see. Hopefully, Charles Leclerc can win for Ferrari, and we can all talk about the World Championship being on again, even though it isn't. You never, ever know. Thank you for your support this afternoon. Great to have you with us. Please leave a like if you haven't already before you go. Massively appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Lots going on this summer. Not necessarily content for the first part of it, but if you're a regular on the channel or you're new, you might want to stick around because there'll be some news hopefully soon. And of course, I'll be live tomorrow around 5 p.m. UK time. That's BST with Will to have a chat about the race, some reaction to the race. Obviously, that depends on red flags and safety cars. If we get a long red flag or a ton of safety cars, it might be a bit later, but around about 5 p.m. UK time. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.